I believe I have put everything in order. There we are. Okay. We shall see if I am joined tonight. There is potential that I am not. But we shall see. Hello! Hello, Draco Kraken. How are you doing? I appreciate the energy. The big hello. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Goodness. We're gonna wait a few minutes before we get into things to see if Aiden joins. Boo may not be here this evening. He has taken a nap. Which means he might just sleep through the whole night. We shall see. And I don't know if, I don't know how long these two videos are going to take, actually, which is going to be interesting. So, but yeah, we'll see if Aiden joins in too, because there was a slight maybe not, potentially, but we shall see. I hope everyone's having a good evening, a good morning, and a good afternoon, depending. Your night? I can't speak on that. Something could happen. Who knows? Maybe it's night right now for you. Is it good? I don't know. Are you tuning into the show right now at night? Jeez. Well then, I guess I have some influence over if it's good or not. Oh boy. But I hope it is. Why is this telling me that my bitrate's low when my bitrate's actually like the highest it's been in a while? Stop. Well, welcome to TableTalk, Discussion, and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Braidon95. And I am on my lonesome on the panel at the moment. If the Discord call should die, because I'm in here alone, then I shall put up the just me thing, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Today, currently debating between playing games or working on making my game, but I am here. I feel that, dude. I actually, so, little bit of thing. For those of you, in the future / in the stream who do not know / are not in our Discord, the hot water saga of my life is finally, at a conclusion, in the sense of I have hot water again. I haven't had hot water in, 5 months, I think it's been. Total. I think no, it's been 6 or 7 months actually, technically, because there were 2 months that I didn't have water at all. But I haven't had hot water in 7 months. Hello, Timothy. I see you there. But I haven't had hot water in my home for 6 or 7 months, and I finally have it after that amount of time. So I can take showers and like do things with hot water in my own home without having to wait forever on a water heater, a portable little boiler. That's not a water heater, because that's what I just got installed. So, that saga is done, and I can do things in my home now, which, as soon as I did, I started cleaning the shit out of my house. Uh, all of my dishes are clean. All of the bathroom is pretty clean. I probably gonna clean it again soon, just cause that's how bathrooms work. But like, cleaning. Um, everything is in order-ish, except for my office. One day I'll clean my office, thoroughly again, but that'll be the day that I get the mattress out of here. But, yeah, that's a whole thing. So, I'm quite happy with that. Secondarily, if you didn't know, I had put out a poll on our Discord, which it was to determine whether, like, which variant of my knight, for Warhammer, I built. And for those of you who have, voted in that, thank you. And then I made sure to put the deciding vote now, on the YouTube channel. Hello, Pizza Funk. So the deciding vote here is between two options, because at the time, there were only two options, but then I saw that somebody voted on a third option to get it to tie. So, unfortunately, that's not in the running. But if you don't know, and you haven't seen it yet, it's right here. This is on the community tab of the channel. And it's going to stay up here for a little while, so if you haven't voted, do so, if you care. But right now, I mean, it's pretty clear. We have the Night Warden that is winning. So, I don't know, go vote on it if you want to. Do it. But yeah, so that's a whole thing. Go look at that, in the community tab. Link will be in the description, and it will probably last until, like, Wednesday. And then I'll start building the knight and painting it, on stream. So that'll be fun. Let me actually get this into the... well, I can't link to the specific post. But I will put the community tab into the description. So, where I'll put it like right there. There we go. So go visit the community tab if you haven't. That's where you can vote. Anything else that I need to mention in terms of bookkeeping here? The couple of episodes that I had not posted yet to the audio only stuff, those are coming out soon. Tomorrow, the last week's will come out, and then this one I will make sure to get out on Monday. Probably gonna have a big lore comment this week. I'm working on a tournament arc. Nice. My voice is already dying. Greetings, Moon and Star. Hello, Lux. But yeah, so what else? I don't think there's anything else that's relevant at the moment. So I guess let's get on into it, hey? Today, we are going to be talking about groups. Running games for groups. Specifically, smaller and larger groups. Because there are a few videos out there on it, but we have a few videos from creators that we've covered a few times, that talk about dealing with groups. And I figured, hey, let's see how they think dealing with groups needs to go, if they're way bigger than recommended size or smaller than recommended size. Because for us, we have a group of 4 people, so it's technically a GM, DM, whatever, doing a game for 3 other people. And that's technically a smaller group, right? Because D&D is meant for 4 people. And 4 people is a pretty good number for most TTRPGs. Now I have run games for smaller groups. Excuse me, I need water. I've run games for smaller groups and I've run games for larger groups. This is just a thing. And I vastly prefer doing a smaller group because I think a smaller group of maybe 2 to 3 people, as is 1 to 3 people, really. 1 to 3 people is ideal in getting a character, like getting kind of intimate into how that character thinks or how those character think, so yeah, absolutely way prefer that because it's a lot less that you have to worry about and manage sometimes, so that's another thing. It's just useful for me. I'm ready to find out how to run military war games. Good. You should be at all times. You might not learn that today. Colbite said he liked the show and subbed. Yeah, I did something. Nice. Thank you. That's cool. Glad to hear it. Yeah, so like I was saying, with smaller groups, I prefer that, but larger groups aren't that bad to to run for. I've run a game for about 8 people. I think that's my largest group. There was a bigger game for oh goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There might have been 12 people in one thing that I was asked to run once, but it was like a one-shot thing for a group of kids because they were like, they didn't have somebody to run for them, and I was like, I guess I could, yeah. It was horrible, but no, it wasn't. We spent like an hour trying to get all their characters ready because they didn't have characters, and so I did that, and then after that they did one encounter, which was a fight with an ogre, I think it was, because there was 10 of them, and I was like, fuck, okay, let's do it, I guess. So yeah, none of them died, but it was definitely something that felt very hectic to me. Although I do hype myself up when I do games, like I stand and I move around and I sweat a lot because I get excited. So I don't know. It was fine. But man, the one thing that I will say that we've talked about many a time, right? Is with big groups, combat, at least for D&D's standard, it takes way longer. Just because everybody has to do their thing, especially with children, unfortunately. Because they don't, and new children at that, they don't understand all of the game at that point. And then, yeah. I think even with a lot of experienced people, you'll still have those times of, oh, well, the situation has changed. We got to figure out what we're doing at this point and this point, because everything can change in a snap. If you can handle a big group, then it's great. It can be, absolutely. 1 versus 10, that poor ogre. Yeah, the ogre died in, I think it was 2 rounds. I didn't know what to do. It was literally like we were getting closer and closer to the end of the time frame for that group, so I was like, I just gotta throw something at them so that they can have fun, I guess, and use their abilities that they just made. Here we go. Children are way easy to please with with D&D. I would have done something more had I had more time, but I didn't. I suppose at some point you might as well upgrade to LARP. Oh, dude. I would love to LARP, actually. I would actually love to LARP. It would be so much fun. I don't think anyone around here LARPs. So, I wouldn't have... I want to have an in-person game as well. I want to get some people together and such, but, I don't know anybody else around here. And recruiting people is something that I don't like doing. So, it might not happen. But, you know. Anyway. So, if it was a troll, 10 wouldn't be enough? No, of course. Any Ren fairs near you? I have no idea. I haven't done any research, actually, so I might look into something. But, I don't know. I would rather roleplay like vampire or something. Do that classic stuff, you know, of what vampire really became for a while before it was the TTRPG. Or the solid TTRPG, I guess. It's always been a TTRPG, but LARP was a big scene for vampire, and I don't know, that'd be fun. Anyway, so that's all to say. Preference is small. Bigger groups I've done, but both have their unique challenges, their unique strengths, their unique weaknesses. And I think we are ready to learn what those are. Yeah? So, let's get over here. Let's get to the first video. Anime/comic convention might be a better bet in that case. That's true. So, this is the DM layer. We've covered him a few times. This video is called Small D&D Group Problems and How to Overcome Them. Now, I don't know exactly what the small problem might be, though I guess in some cases, like with a one-on-one game, we encountered this, Draco Kraken and I did, when we did our one-on-one game. I, as the NPCs, had to kind of, really try not to give too much information, when Draco Kraken was in a group of other NPCs, when their character was in a group, right? I would love to go to a convention someday. That would be cool. I've been to a couple, but none that are the big ones, I think. No, PAX East is technically a bigger one, I think. Anyway. Uh-oh, this guy. We'll see. We'll see. He might just have some solid advice. I don't know. I want to know what his ideas of group problems are, small group problems. I also want to know what his definition of a small D&D group is. Because if it is less than 4 people and that's it, then I'll be like, okay, that's true, I guess. Because 4 is supposedly the standard that you need to work with for CR, right? So, but CR, we all know, doesn't work. Challenge rating, for those who don't know. It doesn't work properly. So, we'll see what we have here. So here we go. It's 17 minutes! Oh, God.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Yeah, we're pretty much screwed here. Look, you guys, I'm really sorry, but the fighter, wizard, and old man all put in PTO for the next few game sessions. So, you'll just have to deal with being a bit short-handed. Here, let me translate moron for you. There aren't enough of us to overcome the challenges in the game. And we're missing key abilities, without which we're probably screwed. Okay, so why don't you guys think of a way to overcome this impediment?
Because we're not very intelligent.
Yeah.
I'm so tired already. I'm so tired of all of this. PAX East gets the runaway guys, so that satisfies my definition of big. That's fair. I know who the runaway guys are, yeah. Hello, popping in to say hi. Hey, JR Sonic. That dragon mask, yeah. What did I just see? It's the skit. It's the opening skit. This is the thing that he does on occasion, and I don't need this. I really don't.
But what if you were intelligent?
Well then I would ask some of Describe's professional writers to roll up characters and play with us for the next few game sessions. Yeah.
Oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. The fine folk at Describe.com are far.
Oh, it's so long because it's an ad. Oh, okay. All right. Now I get it. Ugh. SNL D&D, I mean, SNL is funny on occasion, so it would be better.
Are too busy creating fine narrative descriptions for game masters to use in their games.
Yeah, describe's fine.
Want to play with you anyway.
Well, that sucks. What if we could get some ruthless mercenaries to help us?
Nope, I'm sorry, but corporate regulations only allow outsourcing to countries halfway around the world. That means by the time—
Holy fuck, this has gone on for a minute and a half. Please, we need this to stop. I can feel Alejo having that tired, dear God, let this end look. Yeah, you don't, my face is in my hand at the moment. Gotta turn my sound down for this so nobody hears. Yeah. Okay. I know this is supposed to be the opening skit thing for his funny little thing of like, oh, don't be like them, or do be like them sometimes. I don't really know. This is a ridiculous scenario, right? We have people that aren't here for the game. Also, you have 5 people. That's more than an average group, by the way. And then, and so you have them talking. For some reason, you didn't communicate to your players beforehand about the fact that you wouldn't have a full group today, so you didn't even think maybe we should do something else, or maybe we should I don't know, maybe I can do like a one-shot thing for just your characters, you know, or like, and corporate outsourcing, ha 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 ha, it's a joke. I just, why are we here? What are we doing? Stop. Communication is hard, I guess. Yes, Slay. Yes, it is. Hello. Yeah, I know it's a skit. I get it's a skit, but please, if it's gonna be a skit, please make it entertaining. And if it's gonna be a minute and a half, you gotta truncate this a bit, my guy.
The mercenaries get here, you'd all be dead anyway.
Well, then in that case, I'm putting in for personal time off too. Bye, guys.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. PTO, baby.
That means paid time off, at least at my work. Personal time off. The voices, goddammit, sounds like those voices in my head when I don't take my meds. Do they have masks all for all the dragon types? No, this is his one mask that he uses in the skits.
Well, just so you know, this is a living and breathing game world, and the clock is always ticking. So there will be consequences for just doing nothing. Guys, did you hear me? You guys!
Oh, thank God. That was 2 minutes. That was 2 minutes. Jesus. I guess that's not a terrible dragon mask, but I have a better one, which I bought to go with my devil costume. Too bad I couldn't wear it because I forgot that I wear glasses. Yeah, I can't. I have glasses too. Oh, I got new glasses, by the way. So now everything doesn't have a smudge on it and scratches, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I can't wear. If I want to wear masks and stuff, I would need to have them be like, I would need to work my glasses in somehow. I wish I did. I like masks. Masks are cool. I think that's the official, like, dragon mask or something. It's something. I don't fucking know. Thank God that's over.
Welcome to the DM Lair. I'm Luke Hart, and I've been a Dungeon Master since high school. On this channel, I give practical GM advice that you can use in your D&D and RPG games. Today in the Lair, we'll be talking about ways to overcome a few of the challenges of running RPGs, such as D&D, for smaller groups of players, that is, fewer than 4. Now, running an RPG for small groups is much easier than running it for large groups, so you have that going for you. The things you might often struggle with in a large group are much less of an issue with small groups, but small groups do have their own unique struggles. But first, are you a game master who sometimes struggles with narrating the really cool parts of your RPG? Would you like to be able to deliver better descriptions to your
it's
players
a second part of the ad. It's a second part of the ad. Fuck. I too am afraid of contacts. Yes, I am also. I can't put things in my eyes. I can't do. My eyes don't. When I go to the optometrist, right, and they do the like blow air into your eye test thing with the machine, so they can see past your eyelashes. I assume. I don't know what it's for. My head jerks the fuck back. Like I'm in the other wall because I can't do it. I love masks, says the guy that made a Lucha ogre. There you go, yeah. Lucha masks are sick, dude. That's his voice? Was he doing those voices to annoy on purpose? I think it's supposed to be funny. I think. I don't know. I don't know what the point is for the voices and everything. It's fine if the skit is a minute or under. You know? That's fine. I can deal with that. But if it's gonna go for 2 minutes, I have to die, sir. It just makes me have to. Used to have contacts but got lazy. That's fair. I don't know. It's just, I like glasses better. I like wearing glasses. So, I don't know. I always assumed that machine was to make sure your eye doesn't explode when it gets puffed by air by testing it with a puff of air. Also, I can't sit still for that. Fair enough. Yeah, it's bad. I don't like that thing. I'm gonna hear those voices when I'm in hell, definitely. God, those 2 minutes of nothing. It's supposed to set up the thing, you know? I don't know.
A bit less. If so, I highly recommend
Ads
you check
very
out
long,
Describe.
oh boy.
Describe.com has thousands of...
Here's the thing, right? I'm not paid for this. He was paid for this a long time ago, so this ad isn't... This was 2 years ago, this video. So don't worry about this fucking thing, but I will say Describe is cool as a site. I've always said it whenever it gets brought up. Describe is a cool site.
Of narrative descriptions of monsters, places, spells.
It's got some cool shit.
Items. And it's easy to use,
if you want
too. You simply go to describe.com, type in the name of the thing you'd like a description for. In this case, I'm looking for an Eder cap. I click what I need in the search results, and then I have an awesome narrative description of a hideous Eder cap I can read to my players.
Why didn't you skip the ad? Because I don't
with some
skip ads
gloriously
anymore.
gruesome phase spiders as well. Now, many of the scenes are completely
if they're gonna
free,
do
so
an
you can check
ad,
out
it's
Describe
part of the
at
video.
absolutely no
Like
cost.
I'm gonna let
And
them, because like sometimes those ads actually tell me about something that's interesting, right? Sometimes those ads are actually something that I go, oh, that's neat. Okay, if you want to support that, go over to their video and go through it and all that shit, right? That's fine. I'm fine with them trying to get their bag. That is totally fair. I don't want to deprive them of that. They put the effort in.
There's more.
Sometimes it's fun to make fun of those ads too. This is fine. This is just an ad.
Available with a paid subscription. New content is constantly being released too, which gives you even more bang for your buck. So if you want to take your game to the next level and deliver awesome narration to your players, check out
this is
Describe
2
at the
years
link
old.
below.
I don't think this will work.
And make sure you use the coupon code, the DM Layer, to get 10% off your first subscription payment. Number 1, there aren't enough PCs. The group isn't strong enough. This problem results from a couple different things. The first could be if you were running a module that is designed for 4 to 6 players, but you only have maybe 2 or 3, or maybe just 1. How do you run a module for your group then? The other issue results from the way action economy works in the game. In essence, if the bad guys outnumber the good guys, the advantage will lie with the side that has more combatants, even if the challenge rating of the encounter might indicate otherwise. Yeah.
Okay. So, the first thing, the way that you can supplement that is that you can, even if it's for a single person, you can let them play multiple characters, or you can have them hire multiple characters, right? Mercenaries and stuff. That was a thing that was supposed to be a bit before, but you can do that. And you can have, the DM play as many or as little as you want them to. And other than that, I mean, you can balance your whatever you're running to account for being for less people. Perhaps in encounters, you have, instead of it being like a gang of bandits, right? Because there's like 4 bandits, right? For 4 people. supposed to equal out your action economy and all that shit, right? Instead of that, you have the single bandit, who's a bit tougher, right? He's a bit tougher than a normal bandit, who can at least do more than one thing a turn, so it still makes it challenging. Usage of legendary actions and such like that, even to a lesser degree, not necessarily making them legendary actions, but making them something that is just an additional, like, multi-attack or something, right? Something that's going to make it so it is still a little challenging. You just have to make sure that you've balanced it well enough that it doesn't outright kill your player / players, you know? So yeah, it doesn't really, like, you don't have to worry about it too much for a smaller group. What was the second thing? Sorry,
or 3, or maybe just 1. How do you run a module for your group then? The other issue results from the way action economy works in the game.
Oh, right, action economy. Yeah, that's just something that's, like, inherent to how many, like, entities are on the board, you know? And this is just talking about combat, where you could play a whole D&D game with very little combat, right? When combat happens, it could be deadly. So you could actually raise the stakes a lot for your smaller group, because things will be more challenging and could very well kill them instantly, you know, quote unquote. So you could make it so that they're more wary about entering combat and wary about hostilities. You could make that the theme of what you're running for them. The world is a little more dangerous. The healing is a lot less prevalent because you need to hire people to heal you / if you don't have a dedicated healer who is your friend who is going to do it pro bono, well, you know, where are you going to go to get healing? If you were to die, is there, like, nobody is there to resurrect you with a, you know, revivify or something. So you can then play into that and kind of make it so that, I don't know, it becomes more of a political intrigue kind of game, or you could do the shopkeep kind of game, right? Like, anything can work. You just have to make sure to make it work beforehand. You have to make sure that you are prepared to run it for this smaller group. Could understand Cornell's awesomeness? No. Because it's for specific things. A good way to have a big group is to have a few roleplay and make moves for NPCs. Yeah, that's true. If you have like 1 to 2 people in the game, you assign them to other NPCs, you give them sheets, and then you go, hey, this guy, you get to do stuff on his turn. Let's do it, right?
In essence, if the bad guys outnumber the good guys, the advantage will lie with the side that has more combatants, even if the challenge rating of the encounter might indicate otherwise. Yes, I know the math and rules are supposed to take that into account, but they don't, not really. The CR system is corrupt and broken. We know this, we acknowledge this, yes, thank you. You can only trust it so far before it steals your kids' college savings and takes out a second mortgage on your home behind your back. It is not to be trusted. So there are some basic strategies to help.
At least you said that CR doesn't work, so that's something.
Help with these issues. Number 1, give the party some more warm bodies. Warm bodies are usually good, right? Unless you're in, like, Africa or something where it's really, really hot, and then you might not need warm you know what? Let's just pretend like we're playing D&D.
It's always, I understand why you do this. It's to be relatable and to be humorous. But holy God, please. I just don't need you to try to do that. I get it's supposed to be family friendly. Happy-go-lucky, but man, it's so tiring. Has anyone made something to fix CR? Yes, we covered a video that a guy actually did something to try to fix CR and make it so that it accounts for more than just number of leveled party members. I don't remember the exact episode, but you can look for it. I usually have PCs outnumbered, only use CR to determine XP. That's fair. I don't even use the XP system, so, like, I just determine what they're facing, you know? It's just easier. Hey, Colbite. Hey, guys, just flew in from LimeWire, and boy, are my arms tired. Welcome.
Though, right? Anyway, so give your players characters folks in the game that can help them during encounters and combat. And there are a few different ways to go about doing this. First, players can run more than one PC. When I game mastered one-on-one for my daughter, there were 4 PCs. She ran 2 of them, I ran 2 of them. Yes, this was the dreaded DMPC situation, but don't worry, I definitely avoided all of the classic pitfalls of DMPCs. I assure you. Of course, if you
didn't. No, see, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Don't talk about DMPCs because nobody seems to understand them. We've gone over this many a time. DMPCs are just NPCs. The only thing that makes a DMPC to anyone else is if they run them poorly, is if they run them as if they are the character. That's it. They're there for their story. It's the DM's wish fulfillment / needs to play and only be the player that does anything. Okay? That's when anybody calls it a DMPC. Otherwise, it's just an NPC. So it's a DMPC regardless. Just play them not shit. And it's fine. Stop. Sorry. You're finna be tired from this too. That's true. I will be. It's just... I just hate it that it's literally... Oh, don't worry though. I didn't do the bad thing with the DMPC. Don't worry. It's like, no, it's fine to have a DMPC. Inherently, it is fine. It's what you do with that DMPC that can make it a problem. What about a scenario where the DM long-term plays a character with the party for a later plot twist or development? That's fine. This is the thing. Exactly. You understand. If the DM wants to do that, it's totally fine. Because then, I remember seeing stories, we talked about this in the DMPCs thing, the most recent one that we did, but I heard a story that a DM had a DMPC who was like super nice, helped the party out, did all the shit, was with them, and once they got through their adventure to the end thing, they beat the end thing, and he, Twist, was the end thing. He turned out to be the bad guy who was helping them so that they could help him to attain power. Like, it's a great twist. It makes him then the villain that they now know what he can do, / they find some new stuff because of his newfound abilities and shit, right? But, like, then you have this thing that you've set up for so long. And even having them be a very important character in, like, the story, it can be fine as long as you give your players the agency to affect everything still. Just don't make it so that the DMPC is doing everything and you're fine. You're always going to be fine. Because every NPC is a DMPC. It just is. There's no difference. The only thing that causes the difference in these D&D tubers' minds is if they do it poorly, and then they just brand them as a DMPC and make that the bad word. Don't do it. Ugh. But if you just have them have an NPC accompany them for the entire campaign, and then have a story arc and everything, and it didn't change really the main game, That's fine. It's an NPC. It's like, no, it's not. It's also a DMPC. You're fine. Sorry, it's just... Like...
2 players, your life is much easier. Each player could run 2 characters, giving the group a total of 4, I can math, and your job is done. And there are benefits to this beyond just giving more PCs to the group. It allows your players to run more than one character, which they may enjoy. There's more variety to what they can do in the game, but the downside is that PCs are fairly complicated and some players just can't handle the burden, apparently, of running more than one PC. I mean, I have players whose brains seem to burn up and boil over just trying to pick out spells for their one PC, but let's talk about that in a live stream. I just got dive bombed by a bug. All right, that's a sign to keep moving on. I mean,
Okay.
like some players, bless their lovely hearts, can barely manage to run one character, and if they had to run 2 characters,
You just talked about this. The take got fucked, and then you said, no, keep that in as well, because it makes me relatable. Why? Why? Why?
their brains would like melt into a puddle on the battle map and all over the minis. It would be a disaster. Okay, now we are moving on. And if I just described you, I do apologize. I get a little animated and at times, and I'm a very...
This is a character. He has to be doing a character whenever he's doing these videos. Like, yes, he also does it on his live streams and stuff when it's not scripted, but like, it's the showman, right? It is the showmanship thing that you got to do so that you get all the people to keep clicking on your video, I guess. I don't know. Alejo, choose life. He isn't worth it. You don't understand. This is the thing that I do. I can't stop my nature. I don't know. I think being in front of the camera is inherently a bit for content creator types of thing. Well, it's true. So this is the thing. You can do this, it's fine, but like, to a degree, it gets grating, okay? It really, really does. It doesn't feel real to me. It doesn't feel natural to me. It just feels like you are doing a bit so that you can get me to think that you're being natural and stuff. And unfortunately, I just don't care to do. And this is a me thing. It's a other people thing too, sure. But personally, right? I want people. If you want to do the showman thing, that's fine. You can do it as much as you want. There's nothing wrong with it inherently. I'm just so tired of it. I really, really am. I just would rather, if we're gonna do a video thing, just let it be natural, like actually natural, you know? For sure, I have come to know it as tuber voice. That's, I am probably a person who's done it before too, you know? Like when I stream, I'm the best version of an entertaining self, but I cannot take it to that level of fake. Oh, sure. Well, so this is the thing, right? I do this all the time now, every week, right? And I'll do the gaming streams and stuff with Boo, and we'll do the painting streams and all this shit. But I don't anymore. I don't, like, I might have a little bit in the beginning, way in the beginning when I started doing stuff. But these days, this is me, okay? I act this way here at work, in life with people. Like I cannot stop being this because I don't know how to not be this and if I were to like fake it and be really happy all the time, I'd get exhausted. I'd get so exhausted. But that's what gets you the algorithm. So really, I'm just shooting the show in the foot whenever doing anything.
Offensive bad person, leave an angry comment down below, thank you. The
Oh,
next
shut
way
up.
to provide more warm bodies is by hirelings, or NPCs. Hirelings are basically mercenaries that the PCs can hire to go along with them, thus hirelings. You hire them to go a-ling with you. I'm just making this crap up, guys. Just bear with me. Bear with me here. NPCs are people that you, the game master, might devise to go along with and help the PCs, usually for reasons that have something to do with the ongoing plot and story. Now, my recommendation here is to lean toward hirelings that are a bit weaker than the PCs themselves, and don't create the hirelings with full-blown character sheets. Instead, either use the sidekick rules in Tasha's, or create a stat block, much like you would for a monster, that the players can use. And that's my second recommendation. Have the players control the hirelings, if they're capable of doing so without the aforementioned brain-melting complication, of course. You have a lot going on for you as a game.
Well, so if you want to stop them from quote-unquote brain melting, right? You control what the hirelings are going to take, okay? You, as the DM, control whatever the NPCs are going to know, whatever they're going to take as spells, whatever they're going to take as abilities, all that shit, based off of character shit, okay? Depending on who those characters are, depending on what the party does to them in terms of influence and all of that, right? Any of that kind of shit, do that for them, and then just give them the sheet so that they figure out what to do. And you can denote spells and stuff, you can give them cards, you can give them pages, whatever you need to do so that they know what those spells do and everything. Or the abilities or whatever, just annotate them so that they can do it without them having to worry about leveling another thing. Okay? Like, that's fine. I think session 2 of this guy's campaign, I would have other obligations, Lamau. Fair. I would think of it as a form of role-playing if I were going to do it. Though, if I were going to do it, I would try to come up with a more unique character. Like, it is a thing that I can do, but I don't see the point, you know? I don't, it's, at least for me right now in something like this, if I need to do something that is, I guess, scripted to the point of needing to, I don't know, be a character, right, in something, then yeah, that's fine. Because then I'd be voice acting. I'd be doing something else. I'd be acting for something. But if it's just like this, where it's just me in front of a camera, I don't need to play it up. I have enough energy as is when I'm talking about something that I actually enjoy, you know? And to be fair, he might not even be faking it, which is good for him if he's enjoying himself to this degree. That's fine. But it just feels fake. If I was in front of a camera, I'd be scared of lacking energy. Nah, I don't even care anymore. If I lack energy, then I'm not recording. These days, you know?
Master, don't add running hirelings to your plate if you can avoid it. Like maybe you RP the hirelings outside combat, but in combat, the players should be running the hirelings, in my opinion. Now, if you do go with NPCs, that's fine.
I would actually agree with the people. Your players should run their companions. I feel like that's just a better idea, because you roll a lot of dice when you're the dungeon master, when you're all of the enemies, all the adversaries, but giving them a lot more chances to roll a bunch of dice, I feel like is fun too. Facts, yeah. Energy, none, no record.
It's kind of like the tomato situation as well. But NPCs tend to be more important to the plot or story, and you'll be tempted to give them plot armor. Or the players will...
No. Wait, whoa. No, I won't. Not necessarily. I'm sorry. And you shouldn't either. Everybody can die. That's something that you need to get in your head when you're playing a TTRPG. Just in general. Everyone can die. Okay? And just because you made this whole elaborate story and everything, great. I'm glad for you. Cool. That NPC probably has some cool shit down the road. If they die, that sucks. But guess what? All of those ideas and everything are not wasted, because you could reuse them in something else, right? You could absolutely create a different character in a different game, or in that game itself, that you didn't reveal all the stuff that they would have happen to them, to take on that role now. Or you can then give that quest to the PCs, right? Whatever it might be. You could make it so that the PCs that might be endeared to this character carry on their legacy somehow. I mean, it's something that you could suggest, but it's really something that the PCs would have to choose to do. But if you get them to the point of caring about this character, and then, hell, you could do a thing like, hell, back in Critical Role Season 2, way back when I used to watch that before, I don't know, it was a long time ago, Matt would allow your character to, when they died, have final words. If you did that, and have them say, go and get my father's amulet from the evil king, bleh. You know, like, then it can become something that is thrust upon them by that NPC. And if they choose to not do that, hell, that's fine. But it's something that involves them now, you know? Plot armor, huh? Where? Yeah, I don't understand the idea that you're gonna immediately... Like, I get that I like my characters. I get that I like my NPCs. But, get it... Like, in my head, if they die... That's it. That's fine. We just gotta go on from there. That's just a thing that happened in the world because, as I've said many a time, when we're role-playing in these TTRPGs, we are not just playing a character. We are playing as that character's life, right? We are their life in that moment. Whatever they're doing, it is a part of their life. If they die... That's the end of their life. That's the end of that person's story in the world, in life in general. Another character might absolutely take up that other character's quest, or just do their own thing and not give a shit. Because, brother, somebody has died probably today on the other side of the world. I don't know who that person is. I feel bad that they've died, but they have no other effect on my life. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to keep going with what I'm doing, you know? The example I can think of right off is Tail Foundry, who has a robot person for the presentation character. Oh, okay. Being honest, I'm more than willing to kill my character off if it's cinematic and satisfying. Yeah, I know you are, and that's sick. That's totally cool. I like that idea because I'm also willing to have my character's story end immediately without them getting to their final resolution, because that's just how it will go. That's just something that will work. Because it's a death should be something that actually matters in terms of if somebody dies, like, within the party or is associated with the party, because they had an effect. They were close enough to have an effect. Joe Schmo on the other continent dying has no effect on the party necessarily. He might have set off a whole chain that will affect the party later that they find out about, maybe. But right off the bat, I mean, you know, oh, you didn't even know. If the DM cannot plan around player or NPC death, they should just write a book. The story should organically change, and the Dungeon Master needs to be prepared to potentially redirect plot threads. Yeah, I agree. Now, I understand also that you like, people are more attached to characters as well as other players' characters. I know Boo's talked about it before. He gets more attached to the characters that we've played, you know, before as well. And it's just one of those things that he has things that are planned for them, and if they were to die, it would kind of ruin those plans, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, like, I get that. But at the same time, my brain is just like, but the next character has their own story, you know? I understand it's going to be a little difficult to incorporate that into what's going on right now, but they have their own story. So we move on to the next story, you know? It's just that thing of, it's life. We just got to keep moving on. That's all. I also won't protect the GM from the death of my character. Yeah. Shouldn't.
feel obligated to protect them, you know, the often dreaded NPC babysitting situation. Whereas with hirelings, if they die, they die. Technically, hirelings are NPCs, you know, don't get too caught up in the details here. Though,
oh, then why bring it up? And why also assume that we're going to immediately want to give them plot armor? You've made two assumptions that I don't like about me and about what we should be doing. Then why do you have the assumptions that, you don't have the assumption that a DMPC is an NPC? I don't understand. What are we doing?
Though I might add, if the characters get a reputation for churning through hirelings, future hirelings might refuse their employ because, you know, they'll likely end up dead. You see, mercenaries do want to make money, but they also want to live to spend that money. Usually. So, if you go with an NPC, cool, but do not make them more powerful than the player's characters, and make sure they are just as vulnerable to death as everyone else in the group. I would also—
That I agree with. That's fine. Yeah. You should make the NPCs just like everybody else. Though, there are times where you can have an NPC that's more powerful because they're a linchpin to a plan or something, or they are important to the current objective. Like, there are ways to do it. It's just, you don't want to do that every time. That's all. This guy to own his viewers. Don't think about what I'm telling you too hard. Yeah, exactly.
Also suggest that you have players run the NPC in combat too, even if you, the game master, roleplay the NPC out of combat.
That's
Next,
fine.
You could go with a DMPC, but it's generally best avoided. There are too many pitfalls involved, and many game masters are likely to fall face first into them. And
okay. Ooh, you just told me about the NPC. That's the DMPC. You just said how to make them fine. Why are you differentiating when it's the same thing? Of course, I won't protect the GM from my character's desire to not die, as you yourself have seen. Yes, and yes.
Everybody who's like, I have successfully run DMPCs without issues, you know, leave your angry comments down below. You know how this works. Yeah. The next strategy to help with not having enough PCs in the group is to adjust your encounters. The basic idea is to keep action economy in mind when you are doing so. And what does that mean? Action economy, in essence, is how many times can X PC or monster do something in one round of combat. So if your PC can attack twice in a round, we'll say the PC's action economy is 2. If my monster can attack once in a round, we'll say its action economy is 1. So if there are 2 PCs with action economies of 2 each, the total action economy of the group is multiplication 4. Now, if I deploy 8 monsters against them and each has an action economy of 1, my group of monsters has a total action economy of 8, double that of the PC's group. That means that for every time the PCs attack, they'll get attacked twice by the monsters. So
so what you want to do is you make it so that those monsters, even though they can attack so many times, they do little damage. And you try to account for crits. It's hard because it might honestly fuck you over without you knowing anything about how the dice are going to roll. But you can attempt to, like, say the total, like, each of the players, let's say, are around like 25 HP, okay? 25 HP or so. Typical combats usually last about 2-3 rounds, let's say. So if each of your little guys does maybe a D4 plus 2, let's say. D4 plus 2 damage, they crit, they can do a total of 10 damage. Okay. So maybe 2-3 rounds they could kill an NPC, or sorry, a PC. Potentially. This isn't accounting spells. This isn't accounting healing of any sort. This isn't accounting any of the environment, the terrain, anything like that. We have all of those things that we have to worry about as well, but if we want to go pure fucking damage numbers, we can start there. And then, once we build the scenario, we build how the tactics work, right? We build how these little things act and behave. Then you can have them, they target the weakest one. They target the furthest one. They target the closest one, right? Like, you can make it so that you can kind of fit their strategy to challenge or to help the PCs overcome that encounter easier. Like we just need to do that so that the action economy, yes, they have more that they can do, but they don't necessarily have as much that they can do effectively. You know? It takes them double the amount to do that, and that's why they have so many actions. Let's see. If you make a character that always jumps into fights, they have a high chance of kicking the bucket. True. I remember a time where on the D&D channel, they had a Strahd game where Mordenkainen joined the party. Mostly, he acted like a mentor, but you can make the overpowered NPC work. Yeah, that's also true. It's fine. You just gotta understand how to make it work. And that can come with both example and experience. You just have to kind of figure it out. It's unfortunate that a lot of D&D, a lot of DMing, GMing, whatever, running things, is figuring it out. And you're going to make mistakes. And sometimes you're going to have to, pay for those mistakes and people going, I'm not having too much fun. In which case you go, all right, guys, let's figure it out. You just can't be afraid to make mistakes. It's something that it will happen. And if you want to pause the game, figure it out, kind of readjust, make sure everybody's okay with what you're doing, you can do that. It's not a bad thing to take some time and figure it out in the middle of a game, in the middle of a session, if it overall benefits the health of your game, of your friendship, of your party, Like, it's just one of those things that you just gotta communicate a lot. And that's the name of the game, communication. Valhalla awaits. It's true. If you don't want to die, an undead might help. True. Odin is known as the betrayer of warriors for a reason. Also true.
Action economy will favor the monsters in many situations. It doesn't mean that whoever has the action economy advantage will always have an advantage, but when you're dealing with PCs and monsters mostly close to each other in power and challenge rating and all that good stuff, it does. For instance, if I have 2 level 10 characters with 2 attacks each and 12 CR 1/4 goblins with 1 attack each, I can't say that word. It's attack, Luke. It's attack. Okay, the goblins have 1 attack each. There we go. Trust me, the PCs are going to mop the floor with the pitiful goblins. But that's because the power difference between the two is so great. If it were more equal, things would be different. Okay, so how do we design encounters with action?
Crazy. If things are not balanced correctly, things will sway in one favor or the other. Wow.
Economy in mind.
That's mean. That's like the point of the whole thing. I'm just...
There are 2 ways to go about it. One is a rule of thumb, the other is slightly more sophisticated. First, the rule of thumb is to not have there be more enemies than there are PCs. That helps balance action economy in many situations. However, if you want to take it a bit further...
It does. But you can just not. You can do it. I did just give an example, but we'll see if this second thing is like, oh, you gotta do math, actually. Local man invents game balance, CEO of Goblins resigns.
Consider how many attacks, such as swinging swords.
I don't mean to be so fucking spicy towards this. It's just I'm the 2-minute intro fucking skit really soured me. And then the DMPC thing, it's just, the DMPC is fucking bad. Don't worry, I didn't do it, though. It's so annoying. I hate it. Every time.
Etc. Your PCs can do, and compare it to how many the group of monsters can do. If they're roughly equal, give or take a little in either direction, action economy is mostly balanced. Next, if you want to take it to the next level, I would calculate the encounter using the challenge rating system first. Online CR calculators such as the one on D&D Beyond are your friend here.
No, it isn't, because you even admitted that CR sucks. It doesn't tell you what you need to know. No! Stop it!
and then I would compare action economies. If there is a gross imbalance...
Okay, it's not just that at least. Okay, that's fine. No, I'm here for the nitpicking of this video. It's not too spicy. That's fair. I just, I'm just, ugh.
Balance either way, that would make the encounter easier or harder than the CR system would otherwise indicate. And then you adjust things if you want. I do want to say here though that not everything need be balanced. It's okay if the PCs run into baddies that are really tough from time to time, or really weak for that matter. Variety is the spice of life, and different levels of challenge are a good thing in my opinion. I occasionally throw a monster in the game.
In like everyone's opinion, yeah, that's true. Good thing that you mentioned it.
And that my players have almost zero chance of defeating just to see what they do and how they handle it. Of course, when I do so, I make sure that there are other options to resolve that encounter besides combat, since I know they're likely to lose if they start a fight. Remember, bad guys have other motivations besides just murdering and pillaging, no matter what your players' motivations are. By the way, if you're enjoying this video or just...
Yeah, that's true. Killing is not always the best option, of course. But if they are a thorn in the side, and they look like they will continue to be, killing them is the option. So, I don't know.
Just want to have mercy on my pitiful soul, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment for the algorithm down below. Let YouTube know that I don't suck. Finally, if the PCs need a power boost to handle the challenges in the game, give them more magic items, especially...
Okay, so here's the thing. I come for the carnage and stay for the carnage. That's fair. So here's the thing. Magic items are cool. Magic items are fun. D&D and magic items, D&D 5e and magic items do not mix. Okay? Now, the video that we covered which was the challenge rating fix video, which I will find right now and tell you about again. Sorry, I'm seeing the chat. I'll find what that video was right now, so that I can tell you what it was, because it was good, and he made a site that you can use. D. Trekeros. Fixing 5e's challenge rating game changer. It is that first one right there. I fixed CR, you're welcome, I believe. Yes, it is. This is the video that we covered. It is very good. Listen to that. And if you want to include magic items and stuff, that site that he has in that video actually does account for that shit. Like, it helps a lot, you know? So go and look at that one. What is that, Mr. Beast ass thumbnail? I wasn't even paying attention, but sure. My favorite Muppets are Waldorf and Stantler. Take that as when you will. Fair enough. Let YouTube know that I don't suck. I must not tell lies. That's what I laughed at. I saw that before it came up. It's really funny. Yeah, so Tekaros's video, that one will actually help you with that kind of aspect. And I highly recommend it. It's very good. Giving magic items is cool and all. You gotta really account for that, okay? Which is why I recommend the video. You gotta really account for that, because magic items break the game. They really, 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 really do. And you gotta be careful. You just do. It is a way to make it so that you can have them fight really tough things a lot more easily. That's true. Especially if you give them, I don't know, like a movable rod. That can really help. You know, a lot of things like that. But there are some minor magic items that don't really affect too much, right? Like healing potions. They're just like, oh, I get a little heal. Nice. So it really depends on what you're giving them.
consumable ones. Now, you've probably heard me rant several times about giving out magic items like they're candy because it shifts the balance of power of the game in favor of the PCs. But that's exactly what you're looking to do in the case of a small group. So this is your excuse to happily ignore me and give your players some really cool magic items to up their power. Of course, if you're not really ignoring me because I kind of just told you to do it. I will still recommend going with more consumables like potions and scrolls over permanent magic items, but the latter should still be bumped up a bit too. Issue number 2.
Okay. I mean, yeah, at least he said that, so we're good there. I'm at least fine with that.
With small groups, key roles aren't covered by the PCs.
So don't make your adventure needing those key roles. Or make it so that your adventure has people that are easily accessible for them to be able to do those key roles. Whatever key roles means, because I don't know what that means entirely at the moment, but whatever that means, make it so that they can do them still. You know? Just, especially if we're talking about D&D, anyone can do pretty much anything, so I don't know.
The essence of this problem is that since there are only, say, 2 players, and thus only 2 PCs, they don't have all of the skills that are required by the game. For instance, say that you don't have a rogue who is good at finding and disabling traps. That could be a liability for the group, or you might not.
Is that even, like, a thing anymore in 5e? I don't remember now off the top of my head, but how important is it for you to disable traps as a rogue in 5e? I need to look at rogues right now. I need to 3.5 books. Player's handbook. There you are. No, that's 3.5. Wait, what am I doing? I'm looking at the better edition. Player's handbook. Okay. Oh, Adobe. You caused me so many issues at work. Now I must rely on you. So if I could go to those, please. I need to go to Rogue. Why are you like this? Okay. Here, I'll let you guys see what I'm doing as well. Whop. So we're gonna look at Rogue a little bit. Wait, we can tune him out since when? I can't really remember the last time I saw a trap in a game. I used traps when I did my games a little bit, because they're fun, but I don't remember if they... Thieves aren't like... I'm sorry, rogues aren't like a thing for traps anymore, are they? No. They don't do specifically traps. Mage Hand is good for traps. So get a wizard to do it. You disable traps with... It depends on the trap, doesn't it? So why would it... We don't need to worry about, like, specific classes and specific roles anymore for traps, at least. And we don't need to worry about specific classes and specific roles for healing, either. We can use, bards, we can use clerics, we can use paladins, we can use monks, we can use sorcerers. We can use a lot of different types now. So really, roles aren't really, like, too big an issue anymore. And with the trap thing, like I said, it really depends on the type of trap, doesn't it? So, I don't think the role argument is even a thing anymore that we need to worry about. Unless it is literally just healing. In which case, buy healing potions. Make it so that your characters can buy healing potions. Or make them. There you go. You're set.
have a utility spellcaster, typically a wizard, which will cause you to feel some real pain at the later levels of play. Or you don't have a healer. Not that dedicated healers are really needed in 5th edition. But an even bigger problem, in my opinion, is when there are no frontline melee types, and the players are all playing squishy dudes or spellcasters. That could really cause problems right away. So
it could, but they could supplement themselves by, I don't know, speccing in different ways with their characters so that they can overcome those things, you know? I don't know. Like, if you're a wizard, you could try to summon things. You could utilize more utility spells to try to stop things from getting close to you. Tactics, I don't know, moving and doing things, like utilizing the environment in order to keep things away from you. Again, this seems more like a thing that your dungeon master needs to worry about doing for you guys. Like, they need to balance encounters for you being squishy. You know? They need to balance the encounters to work for your party instead of the typical party, quote unquote. So, maybe we should put more of the thing behind the dungeon master a little bit. It's kind of their job to run it so that it's challenging but not impossible most of the time. You know, that it can be overcome in some way. If not now, then later. If this is specifically 5e, I'm not going to know these things. There should be non-rogue ways around traps, though, with enough creativity. Yeah, for sure.
There are a variety of ways to handle this. Number 1, tell your players to build their party and create their PCs wisely and just deal with it. This would probably be my preferred method if you have veteran players. Yo guys, there are only 2 of you. You can expect bad guys to be mostly melee weapon combatants and archers with a speckling of casters. It's up to you to build your group to handle that. That means if you create a wizard and an archer, you had better have a plan for how you'll deal with frontliner melee types rushing up next to you all the time. Or this might be a short campaign. The drawback of this approach, of course, is that players might not get to play the class they want to, and I want my players to enjoy themselves and have fun. And it depends on the player, of course, but some folks just don't enjoy playing PCs they are forced into. So this...
Yeah, that's true. Most of the time, in fact. Yeah, make it so that, I don't know, like, I don't need to tell people that they will encounter people who will rush at them with a sword if they're going to play as a wizard, you know? I feel like, again, I'll have those things happen. It's one of those, it's the same thing like you said before, of the variety. We have it so that we have things that are easier to take out, more challenging, and then pretty hard. And, you know, a lot of shit like that. I don't know. Build your character wisely. Me. Character named Wisely. Nice. What if I play a 6-armed giant? What do you throw at me then? Lots of things, in fact. Quite a lot of things. Because you have 6 things that you can do. At least I would think so. Be a whole different campaign.
This method might not be the best for that reason. Number 2, give your players hirelings or NPCs to help fill the skill and ability gaps. Need a rogue? Get a rogue hireling. Feel like you really need healing? The mercs got those too. This is a good, solid approach and will work well for 90% of small groups, I feel. Number 3, adjust your game and encounter.
Oh, hello. How's it going?
Hello.
How you doing?
I was just gonna wait and see how long you.
Oh, yeah, it's fair. Oh, we are near the tail end of the first video.
Okay, that's good, because when I woke up, I checked my phone, and I also saw who the fuck.
Don't worry, you missed all of the things that it made me go,
That's
so,
because they would have made me go, ugh.
Yeah, basically. Timothy says, hi, Boo Senpai.
Hello.
So,
Hello,
small
you
groups.
fucking weeb. Anyway, yeah.
That's right. So small groups.
Yes.
Problems. The problems are... What was the first problem?
It's hard for them to cover all the roles they need.
That's the second one.
Okay.
First one was balancing.
Depends.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And roles, I don't think, at least, now this is all based in 5e, so immediately I say, roles don't really matter in 5e anymore.
Yeah, they kind of don't.
So
it's more so like skills.
Exactly.
And even then,
anyone can do
most of the
anything.
time in D&D, you usually have the ability, like if you have a caster of any kind, they can usually kind of
do a lot
of shit.
And what was it? You as the DM are kind of in charge of how you create the campaign.
Yeah, and so you're
them.
Yeah, you have the ability to be like, oh, they don't have a rogue? Okay, then I'm not going to put anything in front of them that requires a rogue.
Exactly.
Or, if I have to, I will be like, here's a rogue that you can hire, or something.
Yes, exactly. So, basically exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, he also mentioned DMPCs and did the whole thing, and I was like, stop.
Of them all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, that was the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Encounters according to their party makeup. This is probably the method I recommend the least, not only because it's a big old giant pain in the butt for the game master, but also because it's not realistic whatsoever to have a game world with encounters that just magically happen to account for the group's lack of key abilities. And I am very big on creating believable worlds in RPG games. Also,
that's
do
fair.
you really
so then we still have the just hire somebody who can do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, at the same time, I mean, in some certain circumstances, I don't see why there's a problem in having those situations inherently of like, oh no, you can get past this if you're creative.
Yeah, like, come on.
So, if we're gonna go to the extreme, yeah, of course. I don't want my world to magically only need a wizard, like. Oh, why are there other classes then? Like,
yeah,
of course, if I'm gonna be in my weird scenario that you've made up, yeah, absolutely.
Want to adjust every single encounter in the module? Maybe not. But then again, I find myself adjusting many of the encounters anyway, and my groups are average sized and have most of the key roles covered. So maybe there isn't too much of a difference there. Furthermore, this approach also assumes that you know how to adjust encounters in this manner, and if you're a newish game master, you might not. At any rate, this is an option, but just be aware that it involves a lot more effort for the game master, even though it's often enjoyable effort, in my opinion. Number 4, let your players create Gestalt characters. Gestalt PCs are basically a PC that levels up in 2 classes at the same time. Now, I don't have any official rules for doing this, but I bet a Google search might help you find something for your specific game system. Yeah, this could be a cool way for players to get access to more skills and abilities to help them overcome challenges, and they might have a blast doing it. It also makes their PCs more powerful to a degree, though action economy would still be a limiting factor, which helps a bit with the first issue of small groups being less powerful. Number 5.
The fuck is a Gestalt? Hold on.
That is kind of an interesting concept.
I like the idea. I just don't know what that is. I've never heard of that.
It might not be an actual thing. It may be something that just the term that he's using for it.
Maybe. 5th edition Gestalt rules for combination classes.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's a Reddit post, so people know about it. Basic rule. Okay, Gestalt is a variant character creation rule which is present in D&D 3.5. Oh! To put it simply, a Gestalt character is a character who has a full class progression of 2 classes simultaneously, with the experience gain as though they had a single class. Oh!
That's neat.
In practice, Gestalt is one way to give your players quite a bit more power, even at low levels of play. Having access to the options a second class gives you can give any class quite a bit more power. giving an Abjuration Wizard the power of Armor of Agathis, having full progression between 2 of Warlock, Sorcerer, Paladin, giving an Assassin Rogue the shadow bending powers of a Shadow Monk. Anything is possible. While it may seem that Gestalt characters break the balance of the game, it is important to note that a Gestalt class, while it will outpace a standard character, will not outpace the normal balance of the game by a ton. Your players will have more versatile characters, but not more powerful ones per se. The 3.5 source of Gestalt suggests that a party of 4 will be able to handle creatures of about 1 CR higher than normal, with exception given to save or die creatures such as the Medusa or Basilisk, since players have better saving throws make them worse overall. Having better saving throws make them worse overall. Gotcha. Okay. Neat.
Yeah, that's neat.
I didn't even know that was in the 3.5. So
Yeah.
Let's see. Weeb. Oh no, he figured me out.
Yeah.
Also, I have too much chili over here, and I'm becoming uncomfortably full. This is the most first world of problems. True. If I was DMing, I would simply put a chandelier above the arena of the boss encounter. Summon chandelier. Yes. Gestalt is from 3.5, Unearthed Arcana. Ah, that book. Okay. I'm not as familiar with that one, so I didn't know about that. 3.5 is where it originated anyway. There you go. Colbite shoots chandelier with arrow. You could, yeah. That's what a two-way class player is called. Did not know that. Well, so there's a difference in Gestalt and multiclassing, where multiclassing is you take one level, then you take a different level of something else. Where Gestalt is you take one level that is one level of one thing and one level of another thing. So instead of splitting your levels, you're just getting 2 levels of one thing at the same time.
Well, no, you're getting a level of 2 things.
Yes, that.
Yes.
That's yeah. It's kind of like multiclassing in AD&D without splitting the experience. Yeah. So, interesting. Very interesting. I assume that's how gods and stuff in 3.5 are that way. Because they are like level 20 in this, level 20 in that, all that kind of stuff. Which, I mean, it could also be multiclassing because in 3.5 you didn't stop leveling. You could just keep leveling something else if you wanted to. So, it's probably actually that. But yeah. Magic items, break the game. Yay.
Provide magic items such as scrolls and potions or even special abilities that will help fill in skill gaps. In my Wonder Panda campaign, the characters were all from an alternate plane of existence, and when they were teleported into the plane the campaign took place in, they were infused with magic that not only allowed them to use scrolls, but also gave them special abilities, including spellcasting. Now, of all the various options I've given you for overcoming the downsides of running small groups, which do I think are the best and easiest to implement? Give your groups a couple hirelings that they run in combat and bump up the number of consumable magic items they get. Healing potions, other types of potions, and scrolls. Those 2 things have a very good chance to resolve most of the pain points of a small group, in my opinion, with the least amount of effort from the Dungeon Master or the players. Click on the screen now to binge on another fine DM Layer video, or to become a DM Layer patron and get an issue of Layer magazine every month. And until next time, let's play D&D.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's the premise that we've all got basically. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's not too bad. That's not horrible. I don't hate that.
The way that you got there made me question a couple of things, but you got there, so I'm fine with it. You don't just get the full benefit of both classes; you get the features of both classes, and the superior number increases between the 2 classes. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway. So that's the DM Layers talk about small D&D group problems and how to overcome them. I hope you learned a lot because I didn't. It's a lot of like that's definitely something for newer people for sure. Though newer people, I mean, it depends on how big your group is when you're a newer person, right? You might not even have that many people to begin with, so might be very beneficial to think about things in that way, but at the same time, if you are doing stuff for a smaller group, you will have to change things, and like you said, as a newer person, you might not have the experience necessary to get that totally okay. So your mileage may vary in that kind of respect. But, as I said before, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You might as well try, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because mistakes will happen.
Yeah, exactly. So
may as well make them on purpose to figure shit out.
Yeah, exactly. You'll learn as you continue to play, and mistakes will just help you learn better.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the second video of the night. That was about small groups. This one is about large groups.
Oh boy.
And it's 7 years old.
Oh dear God.
It's from How to Be a Great GM.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes. All right. So, this is how to run RPG games with 6+ players. Great game master
sounds like
tips.
a fucking nightmare.
It's fine. It just depends on the people, I suppose.
It just sounds like it would be really hard to keep. At least for me, it would be hard to, keep up with everybody.
That's fair. Yeah, it's not for everybody, for sure. Do what you think is a good idea. If it wasn't a good idea, science has happened. True. That is true. Okay. So yeah, this is Guy 7 years ago. Let's keep that in mind, everybody. He might have a different thing now. He might have the same thing now. Who knows? It's only 11 minutes. Thank God. Another one was 17.
Hello and welcome
Jesus.
to another episode of How to
Oh my
Be a
God, I
Great
can see his
GM.
face.
I know.
We're currently in our series exploring how to deal with different size groups. And today we're talking about dealing with the big one. How to deal with groups bigger than 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe even 10 players.
Wait, so they're bigger than 10? That seems ridiculous. Don't do
or
that.
up to 10, I guess.
I know it's supposed
Because,
to be, but the way that he worded it.
that is insane.
Yes, the way that he worded it is wrong.
Yeah. And the way he titled it, too.
Yeah, a little bit, but,
Instead of saying 6+, you should say from 6-10.
Yeah, I was going to say. How big can a group be? A group can be as big as you want. It's just up to you how you handle it. Because if it's way bigger, like, as has always been stated, 4 is the ideal. Because it's just a nice one. It's nice and even. And 2, it's easier to keep track of everybody with 4 people. But Google says 7.888 billion right now. True.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but like I said, I've done up to, I think it was 10 to 12 once, because I was asked to, because they didn't have a person and it was for children. So I was like, okay. But
me.
Yeah, they fought an ogre. It was fine.
Okay.
It just took like an hour to get their characters all built because,
Yeah.
But it's not something I would want to do again, unless I had more time and less pressure.
Yeah.
But like, if you think that you can handle it, go for it. If you don't want to deal with that many people, don't. That's up to you. His voice is like butter. True. Another good D&D voice is AJ Pickett. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
We handle a group that is so overwhelming. A GM is on his toes when dealing with a group of 4 or 5. How is she supposed to cope with a group double that size? Well, often at conventions we sit at tables with 6 players, which is pretty big. Sometimes we get that crazy urge, though, to have just a big old party of people sitting around the table, and we think it's going to be a great day for everyone. Some basic maths for every body at the table. If an adventure of 4 should take an hour, for every extra body, add an extra 20 minutes of game time. So if you've got 5 people, suddenly you're spending an hour and 20 minutes to do something that would normally have taken an hour. If you've got 10 people, well, you can do the maths. Everything just slows down.
That's true. I want to know where this is coming from. I want to know what the source is for this. Because again, this is 7 years ago, so but even so, before that, I just don't know what the source for this would be. Is this just a known statistic? For D&D, I suppose.
I doubt it. It kind of just feels like kind of just a general rule. At
Right.
least that's what it sounds like anyway.
Which is fine. I don't know, and I want to know because we're working off data that I don't know where it came from, right?
Yeah. Well, it may be data that you never get.
Exactly.
Unfortunate for you.
Well, this is the thing, right? I don't. What's the adventure, right? What are we talking about here? That's really the whole, like, if it's gonna take an hour, what is it?
I don't know if that actually really matters. It's just kind of an adventure takes an hour, and he's just giving the example.
I guess, yeah.
Like, he's not like, oh, this exact adventure with these exact,
Well, that's, I guess it's more like it would be the structure of it, right? Is it a social combat?
No, you're not understanding. That's not the point. It's not the adventure, the exact adventure or the style adventure is not the point. He's just saying that if you have this many people, it will take blank time, and he just chose an hour.
I guess, yeah.
And then he's just adding the math onto it.
I guess. It's just, I don't know. Because for us, we take a long time when we're 3 people who are doing something. So, like,
yeah.
It's the exact opposite of role-playing with a group of 1 or 2. Now, you have
one is not a group.
that are being formed.
Yeah, I mean, okay. No, I think he means DM and 1 person, or DM and 2 people. I think that's
fair.
What he means.
Okay.
Yeah.
To debate decisions, and that can really slow things down. So how do we as game masters change that? How do we make sure that everyone doesn't fall asleep or die of boredom?
I feel like this might have been before he started to get ragey, and he wasn't like fully comfortable in being like, oh, I'm gonna rant this time.
Maybe, yeah.
We might have dodged an annoying bullet.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's definitely before he got a better mic, so I'm listening to him through his fish tank, which is fine. Yeah. I can still understand him, which is fine, but his voice is like butter, and sometimes his arguments are like butter. Mostly only when he's talking about horror, though. Mostly.
Yeah.
1 is a group when you're me. True. D&D party group of 1. I mean, it's a thing, sure.
Is debating on whether or not we should raise shields and fire weapons on that Kilrathi vessel. Well, there are a couple things that you can do. And these are the things that I've experienced and practiced in my own gaming sessions.
Tell me.
The first one is this rule. What are you doing? Tell me. No, your character is busy contemplating what they're going to do for this round. Next person. What are you doing? This is what I call the 5-second rule. And
never been a fan of that.
Oh, yeah.
I know why you do it. I get why you do it. But
in a group that big, it would kind of sometimes become a necessity. Sometimes.
Yeah, only sometimes. This
and the thing is, you would establish this beforehand.
Yes, for sure. And I think that if the encounter has taken enough time, that's when you start doing it, right?
Yeah.
You don't do it right off the bat, because fuck you, man.
Yeah, like, no, you do not.
Immediately, it would be like, no, you don't understand. I need to think. Like, I get there's a lot of people before me, but what Fred just did really changed everything, okay? So, like, that's always been the thing that I've talked, we've talked about it before, of like, something can happen in the person before you's turn that just changes the entire battlefield. It makes it so that you have to worry about everything else now again, instead of what you were going to do. And you have to redecide what you were going to do because of the new situation.
Yeah.
So maybe like 10 seconds, maybe like 20 seconds, but I don't know if 5 seconds is even enough.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's kind of has a little bit of wiggle room in that rule where it's like not like 5 seconds, you're done, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Exactly. I really hope so, because that just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
5 seconds per character is an example of when I won't protect the GM for my character dying. True. Don't put me on a timer. It makes me on edge.
That's true.
Yeah. It might even give you...
I hate fucking timers in video games, like ones that are just kind of, they're just there. I hate that shit.
It depends, right? If it gives you so much time that it's like not even worrying about it.
If you're talking like Persona, you usually have enough time.
Yeah. Hell, but Pikmin 1.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Pikmin 1, you got time.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. Fucking Metroid every single time. There's so much fucking time. Unless you fuck up like real bad. And that's on you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If it's a timer that accounts for you being skilled enough to be able to have plenty of time, then I'm fine with it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's like something that's like, oh, okay, well,
you did not give me enough.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm like, all right, no. But the timer can definitely help with raising tension in games like this, right? Where because you did you pulled a lever. Timer now. It can be used very effectively for sure. But in this kind of scenario, more time, please.
Yeah.
Fake urgency in StarCraft 2 really brought it down for me. That's fair. I feel like well thought out decisions are what make great campaigns, so this 5-second rule degrades the experience. I do understand for large parties, but I guess quantity over quality with big group. Hello, Schuyler Tyler. I like that. Yes, I would agree with you. This is why I'm thinking like 20 to 30 seconds is a better idea. Because you're still moving the people along, but you're giving them time to think, And then we can refine it. If that's not enough time, potentially, we can bump it up, I'm all for making quick decisions, but you shouldn't rule out entire turns for waiting. If the group has 60 seconds to decide, I feel that's more than fair. Yeah, 60 seconds works. Yeah, sure. That's the thing, right? It really depends on the person as well, because if they can think of things real quick, that's great. Then it won't work. They'll take their 60 seconds, they'll use like 10 of it, and it'll be like, whoa, yeah, good, next person. But the thing that it could do is cause that analysis paralysis of like, fuck.
I only have this much time. I have to blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but what if I do this? What if I don't?
Yeah, exactly. So it really could backfire quickly, for sure.
If you can't answer what your character is doing in this much time, which is the general time frame for a round within a game or a turn within a game session.
No. Let's not just implement it because 6 seconds or 5 seconds is a round. Let's not do that.
Jesus Christ.
Let's not do that because it's a game and we're not actually fighting each other LARP style, okay? Like that's
like on.
No, that's not a good reason. No. Silly. Fucking Delta Green turns are 2 seconds, okay?
Damn.
Yes, that's why you only have one action. It's 2 seconds. No. 5 seconds equals I auto attack every single turn. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Because then that's not enough time to do anything like meaningful.
Doesn't know what your character's doing. If you're not sharp enough to say, I cast lightning bolt. I hit it with my sword. I block. I dodge out the way. Then I'm sorry. You cannot participate in this round. You're busy. You're mind boggled by what's going on. Your character is anyway. The player is.
Well, at least the thing is, this is a stupid take, but at least he's not being a rage monster about it.
That's true. That's nice. Yeah.
But
even so, it's still just
it's still stupid.
Level-headed is kind of worse to me, honestly. Because like
it's at least easier for me to listen to.
That's fair. It is easier to listen to, but it's not easier for me to understand how he got here. Because it's like you're thinking about it though. You're thinking about this though. That's no. What are you doing?
Will be as well. So the 5-second rule comes in really handy, and usually you won't need to do it very often. Usually it's the first combat, the first kind of encounter. Everyone gets into the idea that they don't have a lot of time next. They don't have a lot of time to make decisions next. They really, really have to focus on what they're doing next, which brings us to the next point that I want to talk about next.
Why do I feel like I've heard this before? Like, specifically from him before. We haven't covered this video. I made sure.
He's probably repeated it over the years.
He must have
I
repeated
remember
this
hearing
once.
the 5-second rule.
Yeah,
before.
I'm remembering it now. So we must have covered a different video where he did that. But no.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just basically remade this video with just, his more modern style.
Very much could have, yeah. Very much could have. Too fast, guy. Too damn fast. That's true.
Yeah. Jesus.
Also, it's 6 seconds for D&D turns. He's screwing us out of a whole second. I know.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I am supposed to be the character, but man, I don't think
I'm not.
I'm
not actually the character.
Not
I am
actually in the
sitting at a
situation.
fucking table.
Yeah, I need some time.
And that is initiative. Now, initiative or action order or order of events or running order, or however your game orchestrates or organizes the character's turns within a combat. Usually there's some kind of mechanic, and if there isn't, you're going to introduce one for working with big groups. So the initiative order, the turn order, and if your system doesn't have it, have everybody roll a 6-sided dice. The one with the highest number is the one who acts first, and then you just work it down in descending order until the very last person acting is a 1. If people roll the same number, they're acting at the same time, but whichever one's sitting closer to you acts first. That's the easiest way of doing it. You work out your initiative order, and you maintain it both during combat and out of combat. Because what that'll allow you to do is when you're moving through the player base, the big problem that we have is that we're not making one-on-one connections with everybody sitting around the table because there's so many of them. And the quieter players, we might miss out altogether if we're not focused on exactly how to make contact with each one of them. So by jotting down their turn order or their initiative during combat, out of combat, you can keep that same number or have them make a new roll if you really want them to. But then you can say, right, John, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then when you come back, you go through that same order. So you become a lot more regimented. Well, this should help you in regular size games too, because it trains you to make everybody involved in your game rather than just picking up on the few who are very loud.
What does this have to do with initiative exactly?
He's talking about if
making
your game,
connections and shit.
Yeah,
but if
if your
this
game
is no different than just a regular initiative roll,
right? So
effectively.
if your game doesn't have initiative, implement an initiative system. I agree. Sure.
Yeah, fair.
If that's what you need to, if you have a huge group that you need to work through in whatever, do it. Absolutely. Hell,
yeah.
Even if it's not a combat thing, like it can really help in a skill challenge or whatever. Yeah, where are we now? What's with the connection thing? Because I get that I want to pay attention to everybody, and not just the loudest people. I get that. That's a different thing. Because outside of the use of the initiative, it's really just who's interacting with the NPC, who's interacting with me, who's interacting with the environment. Like, I have to figure out what everybody's doing. And that's the making the connection. I'm not going around the table like every single time making sure that I get to every single person, unless I get to certain people and then I notice that, oh, you haven't said anything yet. I'll prompt you of okay, is your character doing anything while this is happening? Because that's something that you should be doing for sure. But I don't have to do it in such a way that it is literally you, then 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 you. Because that can help, sure. If that helps you, then you need to do it that way. More power to you. But I don't know, it feels less organic, and like he said, it feels regimented. It feels like we're doing our turn order all the time, which is weird, at least to me. And it kind of makes it feel less organic. I don't know. Plus that countdown on his hand isn't even a full second per finger. True. But like, yeah, connection, huh? Connection. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
like that would be an entirely other segment.
Yeah, I don't know what
initiative is an important thing to do, especially if you're the type that requires fast games. And setting up an out of combat initiative order is fine, because that also is like, when they want to say they want to do stuff around town, it's just basically the initiative just counts for everything, including combat, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. That's a good thing to practice. I think the connection part is literally just make sure that you aren't missing out on people. Yeah, that's it. And it's not anything to do with the initiative, but if you're going to need to integrate it into a system to make it so that it is, then I guess.
Yeah, I guess if you need it, then, I mean, hey.
Go for it. But, again, feels like you're just, like, I would feel like I'm a checklist. I'm on a checklist, and that's it.
Yeah.
But, I would be softer or louder depending on the character I'm playing. True. Yeah, that's also fair.
Large group, very loud people are going to struggle if there's more than one or two of them, because they're going to be shouting over each other. Again, by making them have an initiative order in combat and out of combat, you can control. Well, yes, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to come back to you, though, because it's his turn to act. It's her turn to act. It's her turn to act. Now I'm on you. What are you doing? So it tries to help reduce the clutter, the noise that's going to be coming at you in this wall of player sound.
And I yes, but also like
if you have unruly players, sure.
Yeah, and aren't you already doing that just by getting, like, if somebody says something but you're talking to somebody else or it's their turn, quote unquote, then you say, okay, hold that thought, give me a second.
Yeah,
like that's just kind of inherently what we do. Regardless of group size.
We don't really need to assign people a number just to do that.
No, I don't think so. Would 2 DMs help? I don't know. So
as long as they're both on the same page.
Yeah, this is the thing with co-op DMing. It's something that's interesting. I like the idea. With a big group, I don't know, because you're trying to get information from one DM or the other, and they might have to confer. I feel like you'll have 2 conversations going at the same time sometimes, and that could get, one could be louder than the other, and then you might not be able to pay attention entirely to one, and all that kind of stuff might happen. Like, I really don't know if it would help with a big group unless you are splitting your big group into 2 separate groups.
Yeah, and then what's the point of having a big group if you're just going to split up?
Exactly. I think the co-op DMing thing is good in the sense of breaks. Having one person do something for the whole group, the next person does something for the whole group the next week, and they kind of confer on where things are going and how things are going to happen because of choices and all that shit, right? And they have the basic ideas down, and hell, one can be the NPCs for the other guy at points, if they're in, if the other person is running the game at that moment, right? So like, there's a lot of benefits to it for sure, but I don't know if specifically for this, it would be entirely beneficial. I don't know. I'm not as experienced with that idea, to really give you a great verdict on that. And in my head, it's hard to imagine, at least at the moment. GM, you have 5 seconds to tell me what you're doing on your turn in this social encounter. Me. I attack. Yeah.
Another thing to do, and this is something that you have to tell the guys way in advance of the game. If I ask you what you are doing on your turn, and you go, oh, I'm just going to cast a spell. I've got it written down here somewhere. No, you're not. You fail. You can't do it. You can't act this round. 5-second rule, mate. If you're going to take more than 5 seconds, whether it's in-game or out-of-game character, to check up on a spell, sorry for you, I'm not slowing my game down for the other 9 people whilst you busy dither about. You want to play a mage? That's fine. Have your notes in front of you, and here's the kicker.
We've already talked about the 5-second rule, so it's really just that again. That's really
so
all this
draconian, man.
It is. It really is. I get that there's a lot of people. We're not going to get through things as fast, but things are going to take the time they need to take sometimes. All right.
Yeah. And then I would love it if the other players were like, no. Let him pick a spell. I would love
exactly.
That.
Right. Like that.
Like, I want to see what he's doing.
Yeah. If he doesn't get to do his thing, that's actually a detriment to all of us.
Yeah, so I don't really want to die in this encounter because you didn't allow us to cast a spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that will make the game significantly worse for more than just him or you or us
that is
or whatever.
True. This is actually a great point to bring up. This thing might just fucking not fly with your players at all.
Yeah.
That's a great... I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because like
hell.
if I get in a game and people are denying people the ability to play just because they are wanting to take a little bit of time to make sure they're casting a spell properly, no, I'm going to stand up and say, no, let him cast it.
Yeah.
This is not fair.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need time. Not everybody wants to come into a D&D game with a spreadsheet of what everything does immediately in front of them. Some people just want to sit down and play with their, average D&D knowledge.
Yeah.
And average note-taking.
Yeah, exactly. It's just... Hey.
Yeah. It's so
like
unappealing.
Said, great word for it. Draconian. For sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's like a fucking drill sergeant.
Yes, exactly. Ugh.
And not the funny kind.
No.
Granted, none of them are supposed to be funny, but they're always hilarious, and that's sometimes the point.
But that's not really what's happening in a combat type of situation. In a combat type of situation, everyone's fighting for their lives. You're not standing there watching, or maybe you are, in which case, please don't fight on my team. Standing there watching other people during combat and then realizing there's a giant orc in front of you that you have to suddenly stab quickly.
So dumb. Such a bad fucking point. Why would you do this?
I don't know.
I'm all for realism in your games. I'm all for it. But man, oh man, I'm not gonna extend that out to out of character shit. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like we're playing a game, brother. I get that there's a big group here. Again, we want to get through it. We don't want it to take forever. All that shit. I get that. But come on. Just because I myself am not a trained fucking fighter or mage, and so I can't on the fly immediately as the situation is happening immediately know exactly what I need to do. Exactly what I need to do. Then I need to just stand there and do nothing. Right. Cool. That's so dumb. I'm not in the game, bud. I am playing the game.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Guy, if you don't know the spell right now, then no magic for you. I would stand up for the person casting the spell with Boo. Yeah, no.
And here's another thing. You better, if you're going to do this, you better hope to God that you have every single rule perfectly memorized, because I'm going to turn that shit around on you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, you don't know that rule in 5 seconds, and I guess it just happens.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like
this would become very adversarial.
Yeah, that's fair.
No. Prepare your spells, know your powers, and there is no rule checking or power checking during the game. This is something to make very clear to your players, guys. I'm making a rules call. You can make a little note on your character sheet and say, he made a bad call here, I want to go and check it out later. Later. Don't let your players bog you down in rules, because
so under that, I would say that the better point is, if something is taking too long for you to decide and find, like, and you don't know where it is in your rule book or whatever, make a judgment call and roll with it, and then afterwards learn that rule or see how it would affect if you were to retcon it or whatever. Like, if there's something that is pretty, I mean, it might not even be pivotal, it might just be something that is just a random thing, and then you find out later what it is, like, that's fine. Just so that you don't just sit there for like 5 or 10 minutes just looking through the book and being silent while you read stuff, you know? Like, just make that judgment call and figure it out later. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that, because then it's like, okay, in future, we'll all remember this now, because we didn't know, but now we know that this is how this works, actually. You know? But not in this case with such vitriol for your time.
Yeah.
Player cares. The other 8 or 9 are busy sitting there going, can we carry on now, please? Because we really don't care.
Really,
neither should you. Move on. So don't check for rules. Don't check for spells. Either they know it or they don't. Move on. We're about.
I would also love that this is a rule for thee and not for me. That would be funny. Because, like, like you said, like, oh, so on their turn, do they know what they're doing immediately? And you just do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess they stand there. Neat.
Yeah.
Like, you had to look up the spell, dude. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Like,
go to
okay.
hell.
Yeah, that would be so shit.
Time management when we're dealing with large groups. Which then brings us to the next point. Your story has to change. As we saw in a story on One, the story was all about the character. Now, the story is all about the story, the quest, the adventure. And the characters are actually incidental. You should be able to drop them in and out without making any difference to the story whatsoever. Maybe you have 1 or 2 characters that you've chosen to be the hero characters for this particular adventure, but everybody else is really there simply because they are there. And if you want a very good example of someone who did this, and he was running one of the biggest adventures of all time, is just look at J.R.R. Tolkien and what he did when he had the Fellowship of the Nine. There's a giant party of people.
You mean the Fellowship
around.
of the Ring?
Yeah, he's just, you know, I think he's memeing. But
I knew he was going this direction.
Why would
Christ.
you? Okay, so I want you to understand something, guy. A book is set. It is a constant. It is not fluctuating in any way because it is written down and printed for these characters to act the way that they do because the writer has dictated it as such. D&D is not that. D&D is not a book. It is a game that has variables that change everything all the time. I don't know why you would bring a book in as your example.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
silly. That's just silly. You know better. I know you know better. Hell,
I sure hope he does.
You know
he
better.
Usually brings this shit up.
To be fair, he knows better now.
That's fair.
But back then, he should still know better.
Yes.
Because this is literally railroad your players.
Yeah.
What an absolutely awful idea. Make it so that your players are incidental to the story itself. Make it so that they don't actually matter to your story. They're just there to complete it. Yeah, that's great advice, guy. Now, I understand there's a lot of characters here. There's a lot of characters you kind of deal with. My guy, you took on this challenge.
That's very true.
Secondly, if you have a limited time span because of this, again, you took on this challenge, but you're going to make your players feel like they mean nothing. If you treat them like they mean nothing other than they are a body to dispatch the enemy with, you know? So, like, what are we doing here, you know? Maybe we shouldn't run this game if this is how we're going to play it.
Yeah, because, like...
Unless...
If you're going to do that, what the hell is the point of me making an actual character? I'm just going to make a nothing fighter.
Exactly. Unless we're doing just a dungeon crawl. In which case, I see what we're doing here. That's fine. If that was the intention the whole time, it's just a dungeon crawl and there is a story tacked on, fine. We do it, okay? If that's what you guys want to play, that's what you guys want to play, more power to you. If it's supposed to be some epic adventure that actually has, like, characters and things to care about and stakes and all that kind of stuff, then, my god, this is the wrong medium of D&D or whatever RPG you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, you need to, if you're gonna have it mean something, then you're gonna have to take the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. It just really is. So, what a silly thing.
Yeah.
If your whole point in this is just to say, if you're gonna play with 6 or more than 6 players, just do dungeon crawls, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That is a way to do it. Absolutely.
That's at least a halfway decent take.
Yeah, I would be fine with that, but that's not what you're saying. That at least isn't what you're telling me. That's what I'm gathering that I should be doing, because I am taking these weird things that you're saying and going, I don't think that, I don't like that at all. I'd rather just do a dungeon crawl, man, than this weird thing that you've put together. I wonder if this 5 seconds still applies if I need more information on what's happening around me. GM, no. You should have paid attention when I was describing it. Me, cool, I attack. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Probably does.
That's the other thing. If you want this to feel like anything more than just the most nothing campaign in the world, you need to give them enough time, because otherwise they're just going to be like, I attack. Yes, I attack.
Exactly.
I attack.
They don't have time to do anything else.
And then you're not gonna get any enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. They're not gonna engage with it, and so you aren't gonna be engaged with it, so everybody's gonna get bored with it. Again, unless this is a dungeon crawl where the whole point is just I fight the monster, because that's literally what you have signed up for, and that's what will engage you because you know that that's what you want, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Go off and explore Legolas's backstory and Gimli's backstory? No, we didn't. All that we did was
not in the movie.
The story backgrounds of the characters involved with the central characters, which was Strider and Frodo, and the rest.
You mean Aragorn?
Wishy-washy and
I don't
in. I'm talking about the book, of course, not the movies, because that's Peter Jackson, and he could explore stuff because he decided that a longer session was better than a fast-paced session.
The books are far longer than the fucking movies, my guy.
No, I think he was saying that Peter Jackson decided that a longer session was better. So he's saying that the movies are longer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man,
it's
even when
just a bad point overall.
It's just a bad point.
It's just why are you using this? Stop.
It's always.
I will use Lord of the Rings as a good example when it's appropriate, but this is not an appropriate time to utilize it to tell me how to play D&D. That's dumb.
Yeah.
You were talking to the king. Me. Did I stutter? Yeah, instead of the cool I attack. But you were talking to the king. So
yeah, well, I didn't have 5 seconds. Dude, that's a long time to say what I want to say. I had important shit to say, but it would have taken more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, I gotta.
Sorry.
I attack the king. Testing. My comments might be showing. Yes, they are. Did they stop for a little bit? I'm sorry. And there's like 12 hours cut from the movies anyways. It's just a bad point. Yes, also true.
Yeah.
I own the extended editions because they are the true.
They are the true.
They are the true.
And it is true. They are the true.
I will someday again, I've done it before, sit down and watch all of those movies in a marathon again because they are damn good.
Yes, they are.
But they are not a D&D quest.
They are not.
Like they are you telling it is somebody recounting a D&D quest to you, okay? But it is not a D&D quest in motion. You know? It is just a story. It is not a game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what most after. So choose 1 or 2 characters, make the adventure around them, but make the story as big and as generic as you can so that the rest of the guys can fit in, drop out as they need to. Now, before we finish off, I do want to talk about one concept that has been bandied around between a lot of the conversations that have been happening online. And one of them is, what about 2 GMs or 3 GMs to run these parties? Well, technically speaking, if you have 2 GMs and 9 players, that's 1 GM and 4 players and 1 GM and 5 players respectively playing their own games. And there's nothing wrong with that. In my experience though, if you want 2 GMs to sit around a table running this gigantic group, 2 GMs won't work. It won't work because timing is a problem. I'm busy trying to get this group over here sorted out. The other GM is trying to get that group sorted out. We're still at the same table. It's messy. It's noisy.
Yeah.
They're taking longer. I'm taking shorter time, whatever the case might be. So there's an issue there. My style is different to his style. So when players swap their characters from one camp to the other, if we've split the party up or however it might work, there's a different feeling in terms of how we're describing stuff.
That's
and
less of a
rewards are
problem.
different too. I might hand out more cash or magical items or energy.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, now you, okay. So the first thing was what I was thinking. Like, that's what I was talking about before. Like, it might be, you know, a little, because you got people talking over each other and all that shit, and nobody knows what's necessarily going on with one person or the other, potentially. The second thing is like, oh, this guy does a different GMing style than I do. Okay. Sure.
He's allowing them to think for 6 seconds. Disgusting.
This got banned.
Cringe.
That's whatever. That's something that's fine. But fucking the divvying out of rewards, wouldn't you have like determined those beforehand together as co-DMs? Of like,
I guess not.
Okay. Why? is my question, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
wouldn't because you know what the quests are going to be because you've made them together, you would know, okay, this is what you will get at the end. This is what they will get at the end over here. It's going to be the same. What are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get that.
I'm glad this one's almost over.
it's short. Let's see. Better I was not showing for a second. Oh, weird. One thing I really don't agree with in the extended cut was Aragorn killing the mouth of Sauron. That was really bad form. Sure.
Yeah, the mouth of Sauron, he was fucking innocent. He was just the messenger.
I know. I do wish the mouth was a little more prevalent. He was cool.
Yeah, dude, he's super scary and cool.
Yeah. I guess YouTube doesn't like the counting joke I made. Oh. Hey, DM, tell us where we are. 5 seconds.
Describe the scene in 5 seconds.
That's right. You're in a cave.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, cool. Right.
Then my fellow GM. And we can try and sync it up, but again, we don't want to spend more time chatting with each other on how we're going to do it than working with our players.
Why didn't you do it beforehand?
No.
What does the work is 1 GM and an assistant. Now, the assistant can prep maps. They can find rules notations. They can run little side quests where the party splits up and goes off to discover something else whilst you're running the main story. So if you really wanted my opinion and you want to have multiple people running the game, a GM and an assistant can't go wrong. Well,
You can go wrong,
You
so
can.
don't say can't.
Yeah. But also, okay, I don't want to hire a PA for my D&D game, first off.
Yeah.
That's I get it. I get it. But I don't know. I guess I don't understand the co-oping aspect or this to a degree enough for me to like give you a better alternative, really, because it's just like,
Yeah.
I
For
don't
me,
know.
it's mostly just I wouldn't be caught dead running 10 people.
that's fair.
Ever.
That's absolutely fair. That's and honestly, if that's where you are out there in TV land listening to this, many things together. TV listen. Anyway, so if you're out there thinking that too, just don't do it because you don't have to. Like, just don't worry about it. I get the appeal. You have a big group of friends. They all want to play together. Just have separate games. It's fine.
For fuck's sake.
It's fine. I get it. It's fine, though. If you do want to take it on, though, you gotta make sure that you're prepared, that you understand that this will be a challenge, right? And that you can't be a dickhead about it.
You really can't.
And make it so that people can't do things. And you have to, I'm gonna say, have to understand that things will take a long time. And if you don't let them take as much time as they need to, you are probably going to be denying your players and yourself of a lot of the experience. That you should make sure that you at least talk to each person during every scene of like, okay, you guys are talking to this guy. Let's pause that conversation for a second. What are you guys doing? Because you haven't said anything for a little while, and I just want to make sure that, you're not like just bored. Okay. And like, if there is something you want to do, I want to make sure that you are able to do it,
Yes.
And if they just sit back and go, no, dude, I'm just listening, I like it a lot. Then you go, sick. Awesome. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Or if they're like, yeah, I actually really need to do something. And then you go, okay, let's do that real quick. Let's go for it. Come on. Then you do that, right? Like it's stuff like that that will make it so that everybody feels engaged. Everybody feels like you're listening to them, all that kind of stuff. You're actually worrying about their characters and what they're doing.
You're making them feel like they're actually important at the table of a table of 10 people.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. If you're going to be running these kinds of things, make sure that everybody at least feels important. And if they are fine with just sitting back and watching a lot of the time, then that's great. That actually takes a lot of pressure off you in those scenes. But just make sure. Just make sure.
Yes.
These have been helpful in getting you to think a little bit more in terms of how to run large groups.
Yes, they have been helpful in that case because I've thought about other things than what you've told me.
Yes.
So thank you for that, I guess.
And how to make the most out of your session. I can't say that I find it particularly entertaining running a massive group because there isn't that story emphasis, which I so enjoy.
That's because you run them in such a way that you can't do that. You've created the problem that you have. That's amazing. What? Okay, all right. Jesus. They just aren't what I want because I just make them not what I want. That's crazy. I don't get it. How does this keep happening?
This doesn't make any sense. My gun's out of ammo. Did you shoot it? Yes. What the fuck?
Why is it still empty?
You can probably tell what I'm playing right now by that.
Keep those questions coming. Keep those comments coming. I love the discussions that we keep having online. And until I'll get shouted at. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, or the other way around. And until next time, happy gaming.
At least the mixing wasn't fucking awful for that.
Yeah, that's nice. So he's gotten worse over time.
I was going to say 7 years ago, he was better about it. And then for a period of like 5 years, my ears.
Yeah. Fucking weird.
And then he got rid of the intro. Or that intro, at least.
Yeah.
Oh. It's so funny, though, the self-report,
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it so. I counted down the numbers before. Don't know why that didn't work. Oh, fair enough. I mean, killing an envoy is something a ruthless character would do. It's not something Aragorn would do. The envoy is still evil.
Oh, yeah, he's reprehensibly evil. If you know anything about the Black Numenorians, oh boy.
Now, I would... If we saw more of him, it would be more justified, right?
Yes.
But he was also... it's a war,
and he's kind of taunting you with effectively the assumed corpse of one of your friends.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why it makes sense that he would react that way, because of anger.
Yes,
Aragorn isn't an infallible man.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Aragorn's not perfect, and that's part of what makes him a good character.
Yes.
Because he isn't this perfect paragon of perfectness.
Yes. Not the worst guy video I've seen. True. True. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Hilariously.
But that's the videos for today, everybody. Seems like we get through these pretty quick these days because they're not so long. But today I will catch up on comments. So that will be the majority of everything.
Yes.
There probably is more of him. We never got all the content. True, there is probably more that was cut. That is probably true. I wish there was like just completely uncut everything. That would be so cool.
What are you talking about? We have the Lord of the Rings TV show now. That's more content, right? Yep.
Why did they ruin Galadriel? I don't understand. Why did they ruin...
What are you talking about? She was strong and feminine. She was a strong, independent... God damn it. Fucking hate it. Trash.
When the rock faces up, it floats, but if it faces down, it sinks, or whatever
it's magic, and they're elves.
Saying is, it's so shit. Anyway, really I don't want to talk about that. It's bad.
Yep.
Got 3 bits of lore. Woo! Yes.
I don't want to talk about it. It's bad. Proceeds to make a podcast where we talk about bad shit.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Oh, okay.
It's bad. Okay. So, it also goes against the thing Gandalf said to Frodo about killing Gollum. Yeah, he said it to Frodo.
Yeah, not Aragorn.
Aragorn, he didn't say it to.
Aragorn's an adult. He can do that.
Yeah,
Frodo's still a boy.
Aragorn can make bad decisions. That's fine. Okay. So many comments have been had in the 3 weeks since I've read comments.
Yes.
I'm going to go through many comments. So here we go. If you ever at any point need to bow out, you may, of course, my friend.
I can't. I don't have the time to alt-tab. There's bugs. There's democracy that needs to be spread.
I understand. Okay, so, last 2 weeks ago, I mean. Oh, yeah, because technically I did read those, didn't I? I read the Defending Dragons one. Yeah. So we're good there. I think. Yeah. So, Timothy. On 170, when we were talking about improving travel and denouncing adventures, if you remember. Hello, bros. Hello.
Hello.
I got some lore. The Log of Alabaster, entry 4. I walked back and forth.
It's my dick. No.
Nice. I walked back and forth trying to figure out what to do next. That weasel following me around Steelwood was Targasus the whole time. Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember. He found out that he was around. But how will I find him again? If he didn't show himself to Galvin, I might not have ever found him. I don't really want to waste too much time on a goose chase. Star Ruby. So what's the plan, boss? I looked at him, hoping the frustration didn't show in my face. Leroy. I wish I knew Targasus... Oh, sorry. I wish I knew. Targasus is a master of nature magic. He could be anything in any place. Galvin found him because he wanted to be seen. He can be a bird or even a tree. I need to think long and hard about this. Star Ruby. Yeah, sounds like a hard puzzle. I went over to the bar for a drink, and the innkeeper gave me a letter that came. Upon looking at it, the letter was sent by Talithorn, asking about my progress on the job. Too bad I didn't have much to say to him, besides Targasus was indeed alive. As I kept reading, I found out my brother Cyrus was now a director of the South, and how much Talithorn hated it, with a good few pages of just him complaining about it. So I started writing a letter in return, telling what happened thus far. Massimo. Pardon me, Sir Leroy. May I have a word with you? I heard Massimo's voice shaking. I turned to face him, seeing he was looking down at the floor, twitching. Leroy, what do you need? I feel unwell. It has been a week since we found you in the street, which means it's been about that long since you've had fire venom, correct? Massimo nodded his head. I looked in my coin bag, only having 10 silver and 1 gold. Nowhere near enough for fire venom, as far as I know. It might be less in Steelwood. Leroy, I will see... sorry, this is Leroy talking. I will see what I can do. I plan to go out soon. I will check for some. Oh, thank you so much, Sir Leroy. Almost tripping, sitting at the bar. Right, he almost trips, sitting at the bar. Leroy. Star Ruby, Galvin, keep an eye on Massimo until I get back. I walked down the street, looking for weasels along the way. I found that's such a weird thing to say. I found myself standing in line at a storefront, hoping I had enough for what I was looking to buy. As I got closer to the shop window, with many different displays, one bright purple potion bottle drew my eye, with a price tag saying, cost 15 gold. The label said Owlbear Killer. 10-minute death or your money back. At last, it was my turn at the front. The shop clerk. Hello, sir. What may I get you today? Leroy. Yes, do you have fire venom for sale? 1 bottle in stock, sir. Platinum, 2 coins worth. Oh, thank you. I will have to pass it this time. Do you have nightshade powder, copper? 5 coins worth for 1 standard bag, sir. Good. I will pay 1 silver for it. Keep the change. Very nice, sir. Anything else? No, that's all I need. Thank you. Putting the nightshade in my bag of holding, pushing my way out of the line. Where do I find lava crystals? Well, that's all I've got. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Next up, Rico on Bullets or Money, Metro.
Yo.
Oh man, this takes me back. One of the first LPers I watched a lot did a playthrough of the original Metro years and years ago. Good times.
It's super good.
Yes, it's so good. I definitely love to see Fallout tackle places besides the US. Hell, I'll take Canada or Mexico. Both have been mentioned in 3 in New Vegas already. All we know about Europe is that most laser weapons are apparently German-made, and that the EU fell apart, and that's about it. Oh, and there's that one ship with some Norwegian ghouls in 4, I guess. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Look, all I'm saying is, Bethesda, hire me. I mapped out and wrote some stuff for a Fallout setting near Rotterdam, the Netherlands. I've got an intro blurb and all.
Yeah.
There you go. And also, we have Timothy. Hello, bros. I got some more lore. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, boy.
Chapter name, Cornell the Great. A historical record written by Talathorn, to be given to all first chair leaders of the IMO, for their consideration and thoughts toward this growing threat. Greetings, all first chair leaders. I hope this message finds you all well. I, Talathorn, manager of the South Branch, have been investigating the Moon Valley Kingdom for 25 years at this point, ever since its leadership changed overnight. Excuse me, goodness. I'm sure in your... Excuse me, goodness. Burps. I'm sure in your ever-growing wisdom, you may know what I am speaking of, but I will restate events so confusion cannot happen. The Moon Valley Kingdom has long been a tiny landlocked country with little power, but 25 years ago, the land changed hands by shady means. At that time, I was told by my network that the old rulers were sent into exile, so I set out to find out what happened. I went to the kingdom personally to look things over. No information I found pointed to an uprising of any kind. That's why I needed to know more. Upon learning more, I found that the takeover came from a single outsider to the kingdom acting on his own, a being known by the name of Cornell, that walked up the front steps of the castle asking to see the king. Thinking he was just a commoner asking for help, the king let him in. This was his biggest mistake. Cornell then went on to give a challenge. My reports and local rumors say it was this. My name is Cornell. I am in need of a kingdom, and yours will do. I challenge your greatest warrior, and when I win your land, and everything within will be mine. The king was, of course, shocked by this outright insult, but all he saw was a person that seemed like a nobody, so he took the challenge, thinking his champion would have no problem killing this outsider. A scroll was then signed by both parties, and 1 hour later, everyone gathered in the courtyard for the battle. Cornell and the champion stood about 50 feet apart. When his true form was shown, he was no human, he was an adult pink dragon. Towering over all in the courtyard, laughing in delight, he said this, "Are you ready, human?" The battle was quick, blinding the champion with a blast of bubble foam and then punching a hole in his chest, killing him.
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah, seems it. The king was a man of his word despite being fooled, handing his crown to the dragon. After his victory, Cornell took over the land with no real problems, all pledging loyalty. The old royal family was sent into exile that very night. In a display of mercy by Cornell, he had eaten the body of the champion in front of the whole court the next day, saying with joy, "He was a carcass in waiting, nothing more." Oh, that's good. His new subjects grew to love his rule over the next few years, making new trade deals and claiming more land. The overall quality of life improved, however, it came from much bloodshed. Not surprising. Cornell showed a jolly and happy persona, but he can fly into a rage when challenged by anyone, for any reason. I decided to keep an eye on the new Moon Valley Kingdom after going to an event held by Cornell, where I saw his ambition for conquest firsthand. I saw him cracking jokes and laughing, acting like the blood of thousands on his hands meant nothing. He was also in dragon form during the party, showing it off greatly when I walked up to pay my respects to him. He called me out as a copper dragon on sight, saying, "Dragonkin, you are. Why must you hide your beautiful draconic form? The polymorph spell is only for deception. Please get comfy unless you intend to lie to me in my own party." I had to do as he commanded to not get on his bad side. Upon seeing my true form, a huge smile was on his face, saying, "A real big one stands before me. How wonderful." When I reached your age, nearly the whole world, or when I reach your age, nearly the whole world will be in my hands. There was a fire in Cornell's eyes. Right then I knew he would be a problem. But what he said next shocked me. My loyal subjects hear my words, as the universe is a part of my hoard, and I will not rest until all of it is mine. When I am done, Tiamat herself will fear me. Bahamut will call me master, and all the mighty Io will hand the keys to the cosmos to me. As long as you stand with me, all will fall before us. Cornell's words made the castle shake, and everyone clapped and cheered. I felt a chill down my scales, and I came up with a reason to leave. And so I watched as the Moon Valley Kingdom grew in power year after year, becoming the second strongest land in the mortal plane, with armies of millions at his command. But then a few years ago, my network told me Cornell the Great took a wife. Looking more into it, the new queen was Veronica Alabaster, the sister of Cyrus the Paladin. I learned that they fell madly in love after one of Cornell's huge parties and courted for 5 years. I did not know how, but the two are inseparable, spending very little time apart, even fighting side by side on the battlefield. Foolishly, I thought this would slow down the kingdom's expansion, but I was wrong. It got faster. It has gotten to a point where I think the IMO should see the Moon Valley Kingdom as a serious and immediate danger, and we should do everything in our power to keep the fallen Crackle Kingdom's open land out of their hands. Please think your next moves carefully. I wait for your response. Warmest regards, signed Manager Telethorn. Well, that's all I got. Have a nice day. Thank you. That was very good. I like that. I like that a lot. And then on episode 170 as well, Lux. Well, it's 5:30 in the morning on Saturday, and my lore's still not ready, so I'll just comment on the subject of the video, I guess. I feel like the first video was less about party travel and more about logistics. Still a good thing to think about when you drill down into your world, if you don't just want to handwave it. The second video was very degenerate, disgusting, cringe. He should have just posed it as how to prep for a published adventure. He didn't even make clear what needed to be changed about modules. Should they not describe the environment that you're meant to portray? I don't want to retread ground that was already covered, though, so that's about all I've got to say. Not much, but it's an algorithm boost, and it will keep the Destroyer from going among men for one more week. Thank you, Lux. Thank you.
Oh, right. Whoops.
Oh, there's a couple of things, yes. Well, basically, I know too much about the religious themes behind Lord of the Rings, particularly that of mercy, to be okay with it. Yeah, but the religious themes are thrown out the window for the movie. Let's be fair. Like, yes, they're still there technically to a degree, but it's no longer anything about that. Being too much of a Tolkien geek ruins the scene for me. That's fair. If I get as far,
understand that.
Yeah. If I get as far into it as I would need to, it would turn into a full-length comment. That's all right. I get you. I understand entirely. Like, it makes sense if you want to go from that perspective. Absolutely. Cornell is going to be a part of the tournament arc. Oh, cool.
Oh, God.
That's exciting.
How are you going to fight a dragon?
That's right.
He can't even fit in the arena.
That's right. Unless the arena's really big.
Yeah. It'll be like the Cell games. He's going to break the whole arena.
Oh. And then when I posted that we weren't going to be doing a stream one day because I needed a personal day, we got one from RDX.
Okay.
Saying, the gaming streams have been genuinely some of the most fun I've been being in a stream. I've had being in a stream chat. Just full stop. Especially the Yakuza ones. Maybe a bit biased. But they all have been so fun to watch.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's good.
I'm glad. That's really great.
We ought to, dude, if that's the case, we really need to do a Helldiver stream at some point.
We really do. Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do.
Especially since now you can just get in. I haven't been in a queue since they started kicking AFK people.
Oh, fuck
ever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that this week, for sure.
Yeah.
And then Timothy says, thanks for all the great stuff, bro. Can't wait to see what happens in the next 4 years. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I also thanked everybody for 4 years.
Yes.
So, yeah. Crazy. And then Timothy put lore on Kiryu never killed anyone. Kazuma continues.
Hell yeah.
That's right. The entire episode that we did, no story.
Yup.
It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who needs story when you've got Pocket Racer?
That's right.
Pocket Circuit, that's sorry.
Yeah, Pocket Circuit.
Got the name wrong. I apologize.
It's all right. The blasphemy
Disgusting.
will be overlooked, at least for this moment.
Yeah.
So Timothy says, hello, bros. Hello. The lore train keeps going this week. Chapter name, Fixing Money is Hard. The Log of Alabaster, Entry 5. Excuse me, goodness. I'm drinking water.
The Log of Alabaster as in, like, a log of, like, information. Like a captain's log. Oh, yes. I thought it was a log as in, like, an actual, like, tree log.
Oh!
Yeah, no, and that's why I was like, it's my dick. No.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. I sat on the side of the road in Steelwood, trying to wrap my head around where to find lava crystals. Not to mention enough Hydra blood to make fire venom. Oh, okay, that makes sense. He's gonna make it. I have the Nightshade powder now, and the curse to put on it doesn't take long, but the rarity of the other two is a challenge. The plane of fire is where the crystals come from, so I need to find a seller with access to that plane. Ugh, why couldn't Massimo be into something easy to find? I looked around trying to find a shop. I haven't checked yet. I found one more place at the very end of the street, almost at the city limits. A dirty and torn tent, with a sign saying oddities and outcasts. Nice. Good. Alliteration. Love it. So in I went. When I got inside, I was hit with the smell of boiled, rotting flesh. Seeing a bunch of jars filled with things most places would be closed down for if they had in stock. One such jar had mind flare tadpoles in it.
Oh my god.
Which I took care not to walk too close to. I got to what looked like a front desk. After ringing the call bell, I heard a gruff voice from behind a bookshelf say, "Hold on a damn minute." And then a goblin with recognizable dinner dish eyes walked over. Oh, him. Yeah. Leroy. What the hell are you doing here, Harden? At the moment, trying to figure out why I keep running into your dumbass. But overall, the reason why I'm here is I needed a job. Thanks for fucking up my job in Crandall again, by the way. This really weird elf guy finds all this creepy shit and needed someone to sell it. So you're just a clerk like I was. More or less. I make 2 silver a week. Not enough for how many things in here can kill me, but until I can save up some money, I'm stuck. Well, I do wish you the best of luck, but I don't have much time to chat. I have a vampire hooked on fire venom and need to make some. Why not just buy it? Plenty of places sell it. I tried that. I don't have enough money at the moment, so the only other way is to make it. Plus, I can make more than most places can sell, so it will save money in the long run. True, since the guilds never agree on prices. It's hard keeping enough coins on you. Yeah, I lost track of how many headaches the guilds gave me over the years. So, do you have lava crystals or a hydra blood? Let me check the back. After what felt like an hour, Harden came back with a box. Okay, no crystals, but I do have hydra blood. A good bunch of it, actually. I guess my boss went hydra hunting. You guess? Well, I don't really see him. The junk just shows up outside the tent, and I have to put it somewhere and find someone to buy it. How much? Well, I don't have a price guide for it. How about 5 copper for 3 bottles? Wow, that's low. Well, if the boss wants more, then he should have told me how much to charge. I'll take it. Good. I would say, have a nice day, but I don't feel like it. If that's all you need, get lost. Walking back to the inn. 3 bottles of hydra blood richer. I hope not to find Massimo passed out on the floor when I got there. Star Ruby was asleep in an old armchair, his knife still in his hand. Galvin was playing cards with Massimo at the bar. About 5 empty beer mugs were around Galvin's feet, and Massimo's head was rocking back and forth, his eyes half open. Upon a closer look, Galvin seemed to be missing his shirt. Leroy. You had a shirt, I thought, Galvin. What happened? Galvin. Yep. Hick. So I can't do a good hiccup right now. But this gnome came in who cheats at dice. Hick. And then I lost it. Hick. I don't care. It was hot anyway. Massimo. He almost bet his pants until I talked him out of it. Leroy. I see. How did you pay for all that beer? Galvin. With some silver I went off a guy after the gnome left. Hick. Another one, please, innkeeper. Hick. Leroy. I'm working on the fire venom, Massimo, but hit a bump at the moment. Massimo. Thanks for trying, Sir Leroy. A deep voice then spoke. I can help you with your problem. I turned around, and standing in the doorway was Targasus. Before I could say something, Galvin... Galvin. Hey! It's that old weasel bitch! Why is he so hot now? He looked like an old willow tree before. Leroy. It's a spell, Galvin. Galvin. Oh yeah. I forgot you magic guys could do that. Leroy. Third chair, Targasus. If you could help, I would be grateful. Targasus. Here. Take this. Putting a bag full of lava crystals, crystal shards in my hand. Leroy. Do you know why I'm here? Targasus. I took too much time off, and the IMO got worried. Leroy. I guess you could say that.
Not the in my opinions.
Oh, God. Targasus. We can talk more on the way back to Moorworth. I know you must have a lot of questions, but right now, help your friend. Well, that's all I got. Have a nice day. Thank you. I'm having so many nice days. My God. One of these times, I'm not going to have one. But thank you. The Juniper Empire is holding the tournament, and it's invite-based. Oh, okay. And then Unit Rico on Painting Stream. Wow. Oh, man. Kind of sad I missed this one. I saw it scheduled on YouTube, but I was already pretty sleepy, and I had to get up early for work. Damn you, time zones. I agree. Anyway, one thing I will mention that's massively helped me with painting is a painting handle. I have a Redgrass Games one that has rotatable and interchangeable caps. Goodness, excuse me. So I can easily batch paint. But I've seen people use all kinds of DIY things as well. It really prevents my fingers from cramping up holding on to the model and gives me much more control and better access to some harder to reach spots. I can imagine it'll also help in preventing you from covering your fingers in airbrush paint, and it might help with the shakiness too. Also, God, I feel the pain of missing sprue connections and or mold lines. Decided to just pretend they're part of the model whenever I find them, but it's still a pain. Yes. Yeah, it's less to do with the shakiness of the model itself. It's more now, it's just my carpal tunnel coming up. And if I'm painting with a brush, it's a lot more prevalent after a few hours. So, unfortunately, it seems like 3 hours is going to be my limit for painting streams for hand painting. But if I can get my airbrush to work again, it should be good. Should be fine. Because that doesn't hurt when I do it. At least I've only done it for like an hour straight, so I don't know. But it only has a certain amount of battery life, so we'll see. Anyway, I appreciate that. Thank you. I have a Citadel painting handle thing for models as well, which actually might help with the airbrushing. So I might try that. I don't know where it is, but I'll see if I can find it. And then Timothy on 171, rules light equals better, and D&D combat's fixed. Hello, bros. Hope all is well. The videos for this episode were meh, but the show was great, as always. I do have lore, but I will push it back a week so Alejo's voice won't totally die. See you guys next week. Have a nice day. Thank you. I appreciate that you tried to do that, but I'm reading them all right now. So your effort was in vain, but I appreciate the thought. Let me get another drink of water. Oil can.
Yeah, the gas can.
And then also on that same episode, Mr. Critty. I've seen you before in a comment before. I know that you're around. You said, I enjoyed this. Thank you, smiley face. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's all we need to hear.
Yeah, really. That's great. Thank you. Oh, you didn't. Oh, that was 4 days ago. Oh, so I don't have another comment after Lux's. Oh my God, you did save me.
Oh my God.
You saved my life. Because now it's a Lux comment, and it's long, but it's not. It doesn't have children. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's just one. Thank you, Lux. You showed mercy. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going back and forth if Galvin will ever get another shirt. Fair enough.
Or if he does get another shirt, he keeps losing it somehow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. For sure.
It's kind of like Saitama in One Punch Man constantly getting naked during his fights because, like, the enemies keep knocking his clothes off.
Yeah.
Or, like, destroying them in some way.
Yeah. 13 deities will field the champion in the tournament as well. Oh, interesting.
Ooh, that's cool.
I like that. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Lux on 171. The suffering of mankind is what fuels my existence. So here's that long comment I've been building up to. Actually, not as long as you would expect from how long it took me to write, but putting the words together in the right order to convey the thing that I wanted to happen took forever. So Here we go. I understand
I feel
entirely. Yeah. If you're reading the sentence, it all fit into one comment this time.
Wow.
As usual, the names I chose are just random syllables I thought sounded good together with no other meaning as far as I'm aware. And the cool way is always the correct way to pronounce them. Okay, I'm going to pronounce them wrong. Here we go. I'm not cool. It's not so much mercy as not being able to come up with more. Yeah, fair enough. Either way, it is a mercy to me, and I appreciate it. Okay. The transition from the Golden Empire to the Long Strife is attributed to the year 30,000 of the interstellar calendar. In the final millennium of the Golden Empire, the...
Horace Lupercal was an ass now.
Yeah. The imperial throne was occupied by the Carinid dynasty. While emperors and imperators had always contested with each other for influence, Emperor Carin sought to truly curtail the power of imperators and bring the imperial system fully under his control. This policy was continued by his descendants, with the imperator's position finally abolished by Emperor Macnal. While this move was celebrated at the time for bringing the imperial system in line with the legitimate authority of its rightful ruler, it ultimately set the stage for the disaster that was soon to follow. Until that time, the imperator had provided two critical functions. Firstly, they absorbed the fallout of unpopular initiatives, whether their actions were truly ill-advised or simply onerous, but necessary. I've never seen that word.
Onerous?
Yeah, I've never seen that. Interesting. Secondly, they maintained a bureaucratic layer of government that could prioritize efficiency and effectiveness above political favoritism. By asserting direct rule, the Carinid emperors assumed personal responsibility for every policy failure that happened under their watch, while the need to balance political favors toward ambitious noble houses did not diminish. The result of this was a sharp decline in competence among imperial officers, which in turn created widespread hardship among the common classes. As later Carinids declined in ability, they surrounded themselves more and more by sycophants, and lost all awareness of conditions outside the palace.
Sounds like the video game industry.
Yeah! Nice. Emperor Karen isn't what I had in mind, but I'll accept it because it's funny. Did I say that?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna... How is it spelled?
Carann.
Probably Karen.
Karen?
Karen.
But that would be an E.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Wouldn't Karen be an E? I don't know.
Could be, but...
Karen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way. I don't know. I'm just reading it. See it. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Thus, the direct rule of emperors disappeared as quickly as it had been established, and the new system that came after was in every way worse than the one that had preceded it. With these worsening conditions, rebel sentiments naturally spread through the common class. Those rebel common class.
Damn rebels.
Even still, I've just remembered a thing from a Star Wars thing that made me want to die.
Well,
anyway,
that's a shame. So most
why
things
have
about Star
Rebels
Wars.
been fucking ruined by Star Wars? Anyway, even still, the response from the Imperial Court officials was short-sighted, merely relying on the strength of military forces to maintain control. While this was sufficient to suppress the uprisings that occurred, the environment that produced those uprisings remained. Yeah. Although quite a few officials privately lamented the evils of the age, the few who spoke openly about it were quickly denounced by the political ringleaders and executed on charges of sedition. This lack of concern was not lost on the soldiers and officers who bore the brunt of defending imperial authority, many of whom had volunteered for military service simply to escape the desperate poverty that gripped the general populace, and thus their loyalty shifted more to their commanders than the emperor himself. The corruption of this era culminated in the rise of Grido Rensa. Or is it Greedo? I don't know. Greedo? I'm going to say Greedo so that it's not a Star War. Initially installed as regent.
It's a space battle. It's not a Star War.
That's right. Initially installed as regent during the reign of the child emperor Torgon, Greedo quickly proved a monstrous tyrant, plundering the wealth of the realm with impunity and buying the loyalty of the most unscrupulous Praetorian Starfleet officers, whom he set loose to brutalize the imperial subjects as they desired. With the emperor and the court officials all cowed, Greedo was able to restore the office of prime minister and appoint himself as its occupant. However, as Torgon came of age, the emperor became more assertive with his own influence. It may be that the emperor was assisted in secret by one or more of the seasoned court officials, who would have had an interest in seeing Greedo fall from power, though whoever this advisor might have been covered their tracks well. Either way, Torgon proved a capable adversary, and Greedo's hold on power began to slip. Greedo overreacted to this by attempting to have Torgon deposed, but this attempt failed. Either panicking or mad with rage, Greedo ordered the complete destruction of Shadowguard by bombardment, annihilating every vestige of the Carinid house and imperial court. Greedo then declared himself emperor, but this outrage was too much to bear, and the feudal lords came forth in mourning garb to bring vengeance upon him. United, the fleets of the aristocracy proved stronger than Greedo's personal and Praetorian forces. Many of the praetors soon turned against Greedo as well, either out of loyalty to the true emperor or to save their own skins. His forces collapsing, Greedo and the vassals who remained loyal to him fled to the fortress world of Koroth to make their stand. Though the surface of that world was immediately scoured of life, the fortification system that extended deep into the planetary core withstood the siege for another 70 years before Greedo's descendants were finally captured and executed. Of course. Unfortunately, with the Rensa family's demise, the one cause uniting the noble houses came to an end. No legitimate imperial structure remained, and the great families were each too ambitious to agree on a single sovereign to stand above them all. And yet, the ideal of the empire did not die. Thus, the inevitability of civil war was immediately plain for all to see. It was at this time that the long strife began. The course of that age will be the next subject of discussion. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Very good.
Yeah, it was good. I can't wait to how I write Leroy meeting his new pink dragon warlord brother-in-law because he never met him yet. Oh, can't wait to see. I see how you write it. Yeah, fair enough. your human mouth isn't shaped in the way to pronounce Dragatoan names properly anyway. That's true. That is true. I am just human. Onerous. Of a task, duty, or responsibility involving an amount of effort and difficulty that is oppressively burdensome. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
Thank you. This week's theme: the villain isn't always competent. True. I like that. You can always have a good time with some incompetent buffoons. I hoped to make Talathorn's letter. I hoped to make Talathorn's letter sound official. You did. I did actually think that sounded very official. I liked it. Okay. My mouth is dying. So, that's all the comments, though. So I don't have to worry about that.
Probably shouldn't phrase it that way, though.
Hey, well, don't worry about it. So, hey, you're out there right now, thinking about the end stuff. The shouting out, the shilling. Where has that been? Well, it's right now. Come on.
Oh my God.
I mean, think about it.
Just looking for that.
I know.
It's always the last place you look.
That's right, because you found it. Idiot. Anyway.
You need to be rude.
I'm sorry, but that saying is so stupid.
What? The always last place you look?
Yeah, it's like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I found it there.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
No, looking for it. Anyway.
I killed a charge. Oh, wait. No, what the fuck? He didn't die.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A fucking resupply pod dropped on a charger and it didn't kill him. It's bullshit.
Oh, damn. Well,
anyway, go on.
First things first, I will remind you again, if you do not remember, the little poll that is on the community tab of our channel for between the Knight Paladin and the Knight Warden, that is there. Please, if you haven't yet, do vote on it. I will keep it up until Wednesday, and then after Wednesday, I'll ignore it forever.
What you got so far?
It looks like Warden is winning.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. So, do vote if you haven't, and if you do, you'll influence what I make. So, other than that, hey, we are supported by lovely people like you, like viewers like you. Wow, thank you. And if you would like to become one of those lovely supporters financially, you can through Patreon or through Ko-fi. Wow. Going over to either site, you can look up TableTalk Discussion, Discourse, or TableTalk Crew. I think both will work. I don't actually know if TableTalk Crew will work on Patreon, but you can try it. Otherwise, using the links in our description that are the Patreon and Ko-fi links, you can come over here and join the Table Flippers for as little as $1 a month, and as much as $15 a month, or through Ko-fi, just one-time donations. That's a thing it does, which is really neat. Either way, or anyway, thank you. And these are our Table Flippers. That being, in Tier 4, Draco Kraken, Mog Zero, Rick aka Unit Rico, Slazer, and Steely. Big thanks to all of you for all that money every month. That's crazy.
Yes.
Every time. A thank you to Crimson Rose Armok, aka Lux, at Tier 2. Thank you so much for your money and your support. Obviously.
Finally, you're getting it.
Yeah, well, you know, Aiden's not here to also do it, so I gotta at least do a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a thank you to our Tier 1 contributor. Yeah, again, it's in the description if you want to join. Otherwise, hey, just keep watching, subscribe, like, all that shit. It's free. And then, of course, you can go over to TeePublic. And get our logo on whatever you want. It's at the moment 3 hours left of a sale for $16 instead of $22. So there you go. If you're right now in this moment watching this, listening to me rattle off about things, nice. Go buy something if you want.
And you do want.
Right, exactly. I feel like I'm missing a link. Am I missing a link? Oh my god.
Humble Bundle?
No, that's the last one. I feel like I'm missing
okay.
one between this and that one, but I might not be. Oh, yeah, I am. Hey, we have a website. And on that website,
right.
if you go over to our website, you can go into the support us page and see all the things that I'm talking about, as well as our dice. Hey, get our custom dice. They're right there. I'll send them to you personally.
We haven't sold any of them.
Nope, none of them
except
for one actually. No, one set was sold. One set. That was
my God.
Because we did have 100 that were ready and waiting for everybody, but one set was sold, and I think it was Khan. Khan bought one set.
Yes.
Because he didn't have one inherently from his tier. So thank you to Khan for that, of course. But there are 99 sets of these. They're all behind me. Literally all of them. They're right behind me on this shelf with all their bags ready to be fucking put into these little envelopes, and sent to you, the buyer. So go buy them if you want.
The seller.
Yeah, I am the seller. You are the buyer.
He's not your dad, but he is the seller.
That's right. I am in the cellar. Anyway.
God damn it.
I don't own a cellar. Anyway, so that's the thing. As well as you can go over to Humble Bundle using our link in the description and support both us as well as Tabletop Alliance. Link in the description for them to find out about their charity works that they do using tabletop stuff, games and such. And yeah, all the link, everything that you buy through the link, whether it be a bundle, whether it be on the store itself, whether it be the choice bundle, everything will do a little bit towards us, as well as that charity, as mentioned. Right now, let's see. There is a few, there's some good bundles here of like the Fighters and Arcade Classics pack from Capcom. Pretty cool.
Nice.
There's a Japanese language, culture, and travel book bundle. That's neat.
That's neat.
Might want to look into that if you have any interest. I'm looking to see if there's any RPG stuff. If any of that's still on. Oh yeah, Paranoia is still here.
Nice.
Still 13 days left of that, so you can go get Paranoia, a lot of Paranoia stuff for 32 things for $18. That's real good.
Mm-hmm.
Real good for 32 fucking PDFs for you. $209 is what it would cost you otherwise. So, yeah. Go check into that from Mongoose Publishing. Other than that, whatever you want, like I said, on the store. But I can't tell you what to do. Because, you know why.
Yeah, we know why.
Yeah, you know why.
Broken fucking record.
Yeah. But I need to keep telling them because they don't seem to get it.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway. So, great show, guys. Thank you. Well, if you would keep looking for things after you found them, you wouldn't have that problem. True. That's true. Maybe I'll buy one once I accept that I've lost my free one. Oh no, I'm so sorry that you've lost your actual dice that you got from being on the Patreon. Damn it.
What a shame.
I'm sorry. You
Sounds
physically
like a skill issue to me.
You physically could tell me what to do. No, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
I'm not your dad, so I don't think that's how that works. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with us, for watching in the future, for liking the VOD when it comes out, all that stuff, commenting, all the everything, really. Continue to watch and comment and like and everything, really, because it's cool and it helps us, and all that shit. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Goodbye.